What is up, everyone, and welcome to the WAN Show! We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Account locking devices sucks. Not a real topic. All I have is a link to something, so we're all going to discover it together. And AMD users could be banned in Counter-Strike 2 just for using a feature of AMD's drivers. Uh-oh. What else we got?
Just because he stole my topic,
I did!
I'm going to do it anyways. GitHub Copilot might be running at a loss. I talked about this literally last week.
Nice.
And now we have news about it. So that's cool. We'll see where that goes in a moment. And then the other one, if I can find it, is Google defaults to passkeys.
Really? You picked that over PS5 Slim?
Yeah,
over Microsoft acquiring Activision?
Yeah, we all knew that was coming.
Over Intel's new graphics card that everyone is so excited about?
Wait, what?
No, they're not excited.
Oh.
Let's roll the intro. The show is brought to you today by Kudos, Grammarly, and Maximum Settings. Not gonna lie, no idea what that is. I'll be finding out alongside you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into our first topic today, which is that AMD users have the potential to be banned, like VAC banned, from Counter-Strike 2 for enabling a feature in AMD's newest driver drop. AMD made their anti-lag plus feature available for Counter-Strike 2, which unfortunately is implemented by detouring engine DLL functions. So the idea here is that, very similar to NVIDIA's Reflex technology, AMD Anti-Lag Plus is designed to lower the overall system latency for a more responsive gaming experience. But Valve actually tweeted, and this is from their official Counter-Strike handle, tweeted.
Zeeted.
If you are an AMD customer and play CS2, this is in all caps, do not enable anti-lag plus. Any tampering with CS code will result in a VAC ban. Once AMD ships an update, we can do the work of identifying affected users and reversing the ban, but it sounds like you will not be playing the game in the meantime. I'm glad that they did clarify that you will not necessarily be forever banned, lose your hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of skins or whatever else that kids buy these days or whatever. Basically, the way that anti-lag works is it periodically checks if the CPU is ahead of the GPU, and if it is, it throttles the CPU to send fewer frames to the GPU for processing to reduce the load on it. This reduces the frame buffer, thus improving the latency. As far as I can tell, maybe the audience can correct us here, there is no current response from AMD.
And this was posted by Valve at like 10 a.m. this morning.
It is worth noting that I mentioned NVIDIA Reflex, right? Those users are not affected because, according to what I've seen, which I think came from Valve, don't quote me on this part, but they implemented it the correct way. They've implemented it in the game as opposed to just as a driver feature that applies to the game. I have to say, I do wonder if Valve could have simply not VAC banned. Like, could they just... Do you think Valve's doing the right thing here?
Do you mean, like, is there a different way, like, don't allow people to launch if they have this going on and just tell them that they have to go disable it?
I didn't even think of that, but that's a great idea too.
I feel like there's some other way around it.
Yeah, is if they know what AMD has changed and they're aware of it enough to send a tweet, is this something that they could handle a different way? Considering
they tagged AMD in their tweet, I feel like this caught them off guard.
Actually, yeah, this is all making no sense to me whatsoever.
It's very weird behavior.
Yeah, how would Valve not have high up contacts at AMD? If I'm AMD, I'm actually probably kind of ticked off right now.
Yeah.
Because this reflects poorly on our product, even if we didn't, strictly speaking, do anything wrong other than try to improve the experience for our users. But then again, maybe Valve's kind of teed off right now because AMD should tell them before making any changes.
I think Valve is getting a lot of negative press right now for CS2 in general, which we can talk about as a part of this topic. And maybe they're trying to like shift some of that elsewhere. I don't know. That's just a potential idea. But this was very weird. Seeing it just blown up in a tweet, them tagging AMD directly. I don't know if it comes across as the most professional ever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm actually not really weird. I'm not really liking the way that they're handling this.
Feels weird.
And making it the problem of the user.
Yeah. They do say, I think somewhere, once AMD ships an update, we can work on identifying affected users and reversing their ban. It sounds like they're going to try to fix it for people because, not everyone has Twitter. And I haven't checked, but as far as I know, it's not telling people in the game. They just have to know from this tweet, basically.
But then, let's go the other way again. Then, I mean, from Valve's point of view, if you're mucking around with DLLs, then as a graphics card manufacturer and driver writer, should you know better than that? Should AMD have known better than to mess around with this for a competitive online game, especially one
Very
that
likely.
just launched?
I still think as Valve, I handle this differently. I still think you can even send that tweet out, but in a way that's a little different, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that if they just basically said, anytime you're using all caps, you probably need to just...
Yeah. Do the really big breathe in, pause, additional small breathe in, breathe out, go for a walk. He's going for a walk right now. Yeah, he's literally going outside. I think he's attempting to touch grass. I think he's touching grass right now.
Also witnessed
He's
this.
actively touching grass. He has acquired grass.
Oh God, he's not going to make us touch it.
Returning into the building. He touched grass.
Okay.
Ew. Yeah.
Then we take the caps lock off and
retype.
Say whatever it is that we need to say.
Yeah.
I would do well to take this advice.
Maybe here and there, but yeah, it seemed I wouldn't give it an A+ as a response. But yeah, I would like to see, I think, the don't allow people to queue thing, if they have it. If they don't have that feature already, I think they're hoping that AMD would fix this before they would be able to roll it out. Yeah, so they're just trying to get ahead of it.
And if they, I don't know, I feel like if they can detect this change, temporarily, they could do something as simple, like you said, as not allowing people to queue and popping up an error message. I don't know. Can I change gears a little bit here though, and say something positive about Counter-Strike 2?
Have you played it?
I played it.
Okay.
Sort of.
Okay.
I did some practice stuff with it because I was working on a video and we needed some games for benchmarking, and everyone knows Counter-Strike is the best game benchmark. I am so excited to play Counter-Strike 2. Do you know why?
No.
Do you remember that thing, that tirade I launched into about how ridiculous I think non-random spray patterns are, and how it was clear to me that the intent of the attempt to create randomness in recoil by just having sort of a fixed thing was clearly a limitation of early game design and not the designer's intent. And this whole thing where we just memorize it and draw patterns with our mouse, to me is it's vestigial in my opinion, and a lot of people disagree with me, and that's super cool. But it looks like Valve is on my side. There's a new crosshair in Counter-Strike 2 that just shows you where the bullet will actually go and moves around according to the recoil pattern. It's built right into the game. It's like an adaptive crosshair. And I was only practicing on bots, but my time to kill was ridiculously low compared to what I've ever been able to achieve in that game. I am so excited to play it now.
Really?
Yeah. You don't have to just fucking guess where the your fucking bullet is going to go. It actually just shows you like a functioning cross. I mean, even an iron sight would move. So if you can track it, then you can stay on it. It's amazing.
This is allowed?
I love it.
What the hell?
I love it.
It's called follow recoil?
Yeah. So cool.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel great. I actually get to play this game now. What is the point? Like, okay, look, if you want to talk like realism or whatever, because one of the most compelling arguments that was made to me
That's so weird.
was that learning the recoil patterns could be equated to, learning how to handle a real weapon or whatever else. You could become more skilled at using the weapon, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But even on a real weapon, you would actually be able to at least see where the projectiles are landing with near instantaneous visual feedback.
Yeah.
So this is basically that, because a lot of the time, whether we're talking CS2 or we're talking some other game, you can't actually see a bullet hole where it goes. You have no flipping idea. So in a way, this is more true to the actual original intent, while still keeping things, how they always were for the purists.
My brain's exploding right now.
I'm so happy! And there will still be a slight advantage to having it memorized, because while I'm sitting there kind of like keeping my crosshair on someone,
yeah,
you'll be having your muscle memory, which is great, which is fine. But what it means is that players who don't have it memorized are not just basically turning every gun into a shotgun, which is how it works now, as far as I can tell.
You know what's interesting, too, is that with CS2, there's been a ton of...
I love what a salty, gamer he's being right now. This is so much fun,
you know why I am?
Sure, yeah, because you're a gamer.
I've been playing a bunch of Wingman. Had no idea this was a thing.
Oh, that's why you're mad.
Yeah. What the heck? Okay, there was one thing we ran into, which was, I think it was called perspective audio or something.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out why I can't hear anyone half the time. There's this balcony thing, and I'm playing under the balcony, and some guy just lands behind me, and I'm like, I didn't hear him jump over the balcony. How did he land behind me?
Sure.
And I ended up figuring out that this perspective audio thing made it so that I hear sounds that are in front of me.
Oh, interesting.
More differently than I hear other sounds or something. And I don't think it works very well, because I turn it off and it's like, oh, careful, you might not hear things as positionally as you did before. And suddenly now I can hear things and I know where people are by turning it off.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I'm just used to the old form of audio more. I don't know. But I swear I couldn't hear stuff, and then I turned it off and I could hear stuff. I didn't realize there was, a setting that just tells you where the bullets are going to go.
Square Pusher goes, how's he being salty? He's just debating whether it's a good or bad thing. No, I've just known him a long time. I can tell from his body language and his facial expression.
Oh, no, I was salty.
He's he was a super salty boy while I was talking about
I'm just
this.
salty because I didn't know it existed. I've been trying to play without it.
And you know what? It's okay. Look, for the people who are upset about it, I'll offer one more kind of parallel that I think might make it make more sense. Valve already has had, going as far back to at least 1.6, which is the first I played Counter-Strike.
Really?
So even going back there,
are you sure you didn't play an earlier one?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a gamer.
Okay.
I didn't, or I was, but I had a Pentium 166 until 2003. I couldn't play 3D games.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so even going back to 1.6, it's not like the crosshair hasn't always been somewhat adaptive, depending on what you're doing. If you start strafing, it'll get a little bit bigger in order to signify that there will be a reduced level of accuracy. You crouch it and it gets smaller. So this paradigm has existed in the game for 20 years.
I think the thing that makes it kind of chill to me is if you're at an extremely high level, it's not really going to make a difference anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But now the difference between being an elite level player who has it memorized and being someone who's good at FPS but doesn't have it memorized.
Doesn't necessarily play Counter-Strike all the time, just plays a bunch of
It doesn't have to be this. It can be this. So you can at least... whatever, or this. The point is it can narrow the gap a little bit so the game can actually be fun at all for people who play FPS but don't play Counter-Strike.
It narrows a portion of the gap that I would argue is mostly frustration.
Yes, it's very frustrated. It's very frustrating if you mostly play games where the crosshair is where the bullet goes and you drop into Counter-Strike and you go, well, between the netcode and the hitboxes and the utterly useless crosshair, I have no idea where my bullets are going.
So you've heard
what
about
is even the point? And now I get to sit here for 5 minutes and wait for the next round. Like it can be a very punishing gaming experience for new users. And if they want to sell more skins, they've got to make it more accessible, which is great for me. And I'll just not buy the skins. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I haven't been this excited for Counter-Strike ever, but I'm super down.
Are we going to play at the LAN then?
Oh, I'm 100% down because I might actually be somewhat useful for a change because I'm pretty okay. I mean, you know this. I'm pretty okay when it comes to like
tactics, strategy,
covering corners, covering flanks. Like I'm pretty okay at that stuff. My issue in Counter-Strike is I can't hit the broadside of a barn with any of the guns other than the very first bullet. Because because the meta changed from burst fire to just holding it down and memorizing things at some point. And so I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, way back when we first started, it was all burst fire. And then people learned the patterns, and then it was, no, do the full mag, but know the pattern.
Yeah. And so, it's just gotten to the point where the time to kill for anyone who would do that was so low that, I could be sitting there with 100 health and they have 20, and I'd managed to put one bullet into their ankle and they'd managed to put 6 through my skull. And I'm just kind of sitting here going, well, this is ridiculous. And it's not because I have terrible aim. I'm actually a somewhat okay FPS player. I'm okay.
You're better than you often put on.
I'm okay. Well, the problem for me is I'm all over the place though. Like we've logged into Halo Infinite and I'm like carrying. And then we've logged into Halo Infinite and I'm getting absolutely nothing done. And I don't think it's because the opponents changed a ton. Like this is against similar ranked opponents. I'm one of those people who, I don't know what it is, but my day-to-day skill variance is the highest out of anyone I know. And that's not just gaming. Like, that's something I observe in badminton as well. I play against the same people every week.
Super checks.
Every Tuesday.
That's a terrible example, Linus.
Okay. So...
I'm going to die tonight.
We've gone from handshaking to like... Luke, you're going to be hard to replace, man.
I've known since... last week that this week was going to go very poorly for me, and I've just been embracing it. I've just been poking the bear, being like, I know I'm going to get wrecked, just might as well have it be epic.
So for those of you who don't have the context for this, I treated myself to a bubble hockey game a little while ago. It looks a little something like this one, and Luke had beat me once before. We play most nights after WAN since we got it, and he beat me once. He's had some close ones. Like it's not like I just dunk on him every week.
Once outside of last week.
Had you? Was it 2?
I think 3.
Well, it definitely wasn't 3. I'd remember that.
It was at least 2.
Okay, 2 then. So he beat me a couple times, but like they were one-offs, and I had won like 2 or 3 other games that same night both times. Last Friday, he beat me 3 in a row. I was
pretty gapped too.
Not happy.
Like most games, they weren't won by 1 point.
Like I was not happy.
Yeah.
We had that first absolutely wild game.
That was a nuts game.
He beat me 7-6 in overtime, which I was not happy about.
Very high scoring.
Very back and forth game.
And the shots to score ratio was insane.
absolutely insane. Neither of us could stop a puck to save our lives.
It was crazy.
And then the next two were not even close. This week I'm not f***ing around. So let's go, boys.
I knew he was going to take that approach since last week.
I was full effort last week though. Like, I'm not going to make any excuses. I was trying.
Yeah.
I was trying hard.
But you do this thing.
I
just know this week will not be one of these down here. That's what. So I poked him the other day in the office. I poked him some other time. I don't remember. I poked him right here just because it's like, whatever. I might as well make it fun.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Counter-Strike 2. I'm stoked. Let's play at the LAN.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Nice. But yeah, there's just in case you haven't been watching it, the launch of Counter-Strike 2 has been
up and down like my skill level at things.
Yeah, a little weird to say the best, to be honest. Completely removing, that's not necessarily true, because I think people can still play through the game versions thing that you've talked about in the past.
Yep, they can still play CSGO.
But who knows how long that's going to last.
That'll become just completely ignored. It's like it's a very strategic, they know what's going to happen kind of thing. It's kind of like when you when you release a community poll because you know what the answer will be, and then it doesn't backfire and you end up daily driving the LG Wing. It's like that. I don't have one yet. We've bought one on eBay because obviously you can't buy them new, so I'm still on the Note 9. Oh, hey. Sorry, were you going to finish the thought, or can I?
I have a little bit more to go over.
Go ahead.
So yeah, there's the removal of CS:GO, which some people are unhappy about. There's the really weird hitreg issues, which people have been debating about quite significantly about what's actually happening and what's not happening. But there's a ton of videos you can find online of people clearly shooting people in the head and they're not getting hit in the head. And there's also videos where they show the hitbox, but people have been arguing that the hitbox that's shown when they're doing that is incorrect or something, and I don't know, something's weird, whatever. There's stuff going on with that. There's issues where people just ranking up is just not functioning in certain game modes. There's all this stuff going on that's been honestly really rough, and it's been a weird launch. Feels like it was too early, in my opinion, to be completely honest.
How can you be so early and yet so late?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of true though. There was people wanting access for a super, super long time, but then we got it and it was bad.
My fold.
Yeah.
Dan and I.
With yellow stickers.
Don't worry about the yellow stickers.
Okay.
Rude.
Dan and I, especially Dan, made a rescue attempt today.
Yeah.
And I am not going to say anything further on the subject. They're going to have to watch the video, but it's going to be a really fun video. I think, Dan, when's the last time you co-hosted an LTT mainline video?
I don't think I ever have, because I was sort of an add-on person for David and your Game Gear video. So this will be my first co-host.
Oh,
because I'm not a writer, right? So
cool. Yeah. So guys, if you love Dan and you want to see more of Dan, there you go. That's all you get. Ha! Got him. No, sorry. So there's an LTT video coming soon where Dan and I attempt to recover some very important data that it turns out was on my foldable before it was killed by the pool. Did I tell you what's on it?
Yeah, the intro to some video or something?
Yeah. Well, the intro to a video. The intro to the video where my computer died, which is not something that is...
Which time?
The first time.
Okay.
Not something that is easily reproduced. Okay, so here's the thing. That happened a while back. Since then, so when you guys watch the video where I repair the computer, you will be seeing an iteration of the computer that no longer exists because it actually died less than a week later. Again. That time it was... okay, so I'm not going to spoil the first one. Pretty interesting. It just died. Okay, we fix it. And then the second time, this didn't end up being a video because I was like, look, I can't make back-to-back videos one week to the next about like my computer died and I fixed it. There's not a lot of content in here, but it was interesting. I had a leak in the hardline tubing that I was using. I was using PETG tubing, which I just grabbed from the warehouse, not knowing that PETG tubing is out of fashion now in favor of acrylic tubing for hardline because it's much more heat sensitive. So what happened was I used PETG hardline tubing, and during the Sonos like audio box wall video that I did with Alex, we unplugged an extension cord over there, not realizing that it was connected to the pump that was running to the pool. Now, normally thermal throttling would prevent that from causing any kind of an issue. The water would just get really hot in the loop and your CPU would throttle to save itself. But what happened was, it's a perfect storm, right? So we had no pump. The CPU got really hot. Oh, sorry, we had no pump. It was an all metal block, highly heat conductive, metal top, solid piece of metal from EK. And then number 3 is I was using PETG tubing. So that heat, with that heat conduction, with that heat sensitive tubing, caused it to contract and bend and
open up a little bit.
And the O-ring failed. Yeah. So it killed not only my gaming system, but also the motherboard of the Storinator server. This is weird. 3 systems lower, but neither of the systems in between. Don't ask me. I still couldn't explain to you how the water killed this one and this one, but not these 2.
Were those 2 wet at all?
I mean, there was like a bit of water, like on, like the housing casing, like. But there were, this is a video that's coming where I will show the Supermicro motherboard and all the points of corrosion on it and stuff. Like it got wasted.
Wasted.
Surface tension.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it must
have climbed.
Yeah, it must have. It must have like clung.
Yeah.
Under, to something. I don't know.
Wormed its way down.
Water, man.
Yeah.
You can never make something waterproof because water will find it and it will it up.
Pretty much.
That's water.
It's got all the time in the world.
Oh no! Yeah, Chaos the Bomb. They had a Corsair Commander Pro fail on them, causing their pump to fail. Their PETG loop got hot enough for the fittings to be able to compress the tubes. Came back the next day to a puddle under my machine. Oh. Thankfully, it was off. Oh. No damage, but lesson learned. Oh. Yeah, very, very lucky. Yeah, years ago, my workstation got killed when the ladies' restroom flooded overnight hundreds of feet away. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Water, it's like life. It finds a way. It finds a way, man. It finds a way. Dams and condoms. That's what they have in common.
What do I have in common with condoms?
They fail.
Things find a way through them.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay.
We can move on now.
Yeah. All right. What? I don't know. PlayStation Slim? Why do you care about this?
I think it's really cool.
But they release a Slim every time.
I know, but
we knew there was one coming.
But now it's a faster, better one. Okay, no, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I looked at this and I went, oh man, I can imagine the conversations at Sony that would have prompted this product. Okay, so you remember, the original PlayStation 5 was available in 2 variants, right? Or not was, is, it's still available. So the original PlayStation 5, 2 variants. You've got the disc version for $499, and then you've got the discless all-digital version for $399, if I recall correctly, in American Yankee doubloons, or whatever they call them. Mm-hmm. And, as far as I'm aware, the majority of the sales have been of the disc version because it makes a lot of sense that as a console gamer, you might want to collect physical copies of your games so that you have them in the event of, you have bad internet or whatever else, and also so that you can resell them, which is a huge value and something that I think one of the big console makers is going to figure out and force the other's hands, I hope, and cause the industry to change, but for now is just not something that can happen with digital games. Does someone allow it?
Oh, I thought you meant the other way around.
No, digital games.
What are you saying?
Yeah, with digital games, you can't resell them. So so right now, there is easily a $100 benefit to buying a disc version of a console and buying all disc games so that you can, especially if you're a prolific game player, so you can buy games, play them, resell them, and get that and effectively subsidize your own future gaming experiences, right? And I can imagine the conversation around a Sony boardroom table when they released these two separate SKUs of the product and then saw some user feedback that went, how's the optical drive not just an add-on module? Why did you produce two separate SKUs of this thing instead of just, I don't know, a USB drive? This is technology that's existed for 30 years or
We've
however
also
long.
literally had consoles that like you can click in an optical drive since like
Mega
Sega
Drive?
Genesis or something.
Yeah.
Like it's been a long time.
It's been
I don't remember which one, but it's been a very long time.
It's been a long time. I mean, wasn't the original PlayStation the result of the failed collaboration between Sony and Nintendo to add a disc-based add-on to a Nintendo console? And so I just find it so funny that the new ones are coming out, or the new one is coming out, and that's exactly how they're doing it. They're like, oh. So you can get the new PS5 Slim, and it does not have a... Oh, wow.
The Famicom Computer Disk System. Availability started in 1986.
Okay, but that's not a CD. But yes.
It's a... You know what I'm saying.
But you're right. Basically, the concept's been around as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
So Sony... Okay, here, let's go through the thing. Sony announced a new slim model of PS5, reduced in volume by over 30%. That's good, because it was big. I mean, honestly, it still looks kind of big, but... Anywho, and weight by 18%. Comes with a terabyte of storage. Will be the new default model once stock.
That's my leg, not the desk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? What's footsie between friends? It features a removable disk drive. A digital edition can be bought without the drive for a $30 discount. If gamers then change their minds, the separate drive can be bought for $80. While the console is portrayed standing upright in most of Sony's marketing material, this actually requires a separate vertical stand that costs another $30. So Sony has done some pretty clever stuff here, effectively raising the price of the PlayStation. Buy the
expensive one, or you might regret it.
They've done exactly what we were talking about in the pre-show today, presenting two options: an unappealing one and
an expensive one.
A more expensive one. So here, what does this work out to? Where's the actual pricing? Blah blah blah. New look PlayStation 5. Okay, here we go. So if you want to upgrade later, PS5. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so it's still $500 for the new slim PS5 with the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. So that is unchanged, but it's clear that they are no longer interested in selling digital editions for $400 because that is now $449 for the new slim one. Then if you want to add the drive after the fact, that's $80, bringing you to $530. You want to put it standing upright, that's going to be another $30 for a total of $560. So they have effectively changed the price from $499 to $429 for the one that's fully equipped, and from $400 to $449 plus $30 for a stand, so $479. I hate the 9. For $480, or then if you want to add the drive later on after the fact, it's like $560 or something like that. Honestly, as far as ways of raising the price go, this is relatively inoffensive to me. I think that if they had just raised the price outright, that would be worse. But as someone who would have strongly advocated for buying the disc version of it, both in terms of the practicality of being able to resell your games and in terms of resale value of the console itself, what I suspect is that all digital ones are going to be perceived as less valued to people who are getting these things down the road.
I also might suspect, I know one of the big draws of PlayStation is a lot of their single player games, actually. And I suspect if, you wanted to play on the road or something, I don't know, if you're in a situation where you didn't have internet, maybe it's down, who knows. I think you'd still be able to play with the discs. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I would I'd strongly advocate for that anyway. Yeah. So I don't mind this, and I don't mind it costing a little bit more if you go, whoopsie doodle, I changed my mind, because it's not that much more. It's $30 more. Yeah, about $30 more.
Okay.
If you change your mind after the fact. Here, you can have a look at what the modular interface looks like. I'm sure Dbrand is currently beavering away trying to figure out how to make dark plates in these shapes and sizes and all that. Unhelpful for Dbrand. It's slightly less ugly now. It is. I actually like the look of it a lot better. Although, I do think it would look cooler in different colors and stuff like that, and I'm sure that that's something that they can capitalize on.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of the monochrome future. I was thinking about this the other day. Your car is growing on me.
No way.
Yeah.
The stupid Damascus Warzone stupid rap. You know what? It did the same thing with me.
Really?
Yeah, I
It's gonna hurt him to say it.
kind of like it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, my kids liked it immediately, but maybe that's not their childish tastes. Maybe that's just their more malleable minds. Maybe they're just more open to new ideas and experiences.
Because for so long, all design, all interior design, a lot of clothing, cars, everything is just
my house,
white and black.
Everything in my house is white and black. Don't forget about gray.
Yep. White, black, and the shades between.
It's inoffensive.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
not
boring.
Particularly interesting.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. I get it. Yvonne and I are, what's really funny is I was grappling with this on Wednesday. I was ordering a cage topper. Do you know what a cage topper is? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's
I think I can guess.
Top piece for a cage. Well, it's actually for an aquarium. It's for the mice that we have as cat TV. And I had a top for it, but it was a top I made myself, and it was made of just some kind of particle board of some sort, and the mice are chewing through it. And in a house with cats, the last thing you want is your mice getting out, because it's out of the frying pan into the fire a little bit, right? So this cage topper is from a company called Quality Cage or something like that.
Sure.
And basically, it sits on top of your aquarium, goes about 3 inches down so that it can't be easily tipped over by
curious cats.
Feline companion. And then it has a couple little ramps. It has a ramp that goes down into the aquarium, and then it has a layer, and then it has another ramp that goes up to another layer. So it turns it from just an aquarium into more of a habitat that they can run around in. And I saw some feedback from other customers that talks about how they see way more of them just running around in it instead of them just hiding in their little burrows, and it seemed to be really engaging for them. So I was like, okay. It's really expensive because it's, made in America.
Sure.
And
import taxes and stuff like that.
No, it's made in America.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really expensive before I pay shipping and taxes because it's made in America.
Right.
But as far as I can tell, they're a small company and kind of do their own thing, and everything is sort of custom.
It's cool to support. Yeah,
custom built. And I reached out to them. They were super responsive. And so I got confirmation of what was the right product. And then I'm sitting there on the order page. I'll show you the options, okay?
This is interesting.
I'll show you the options.
So while you look for that, someone in Floatplane chat mentioned millennial gray, and that's actually a thing. You can look it up. The color spectrum of things in our world is narrowing because back in the day, things were much more colorful. You think different grains of wood. You think all the different colors and patterns that used to be in homes back in the day, and then millennials are just nope. Whoa.
Okay. So they've got purple and pink.
Whoa.
And teal. All these fun colors. Ooh, look at Stardust. Okay, that's really hard to see on the screen. But what about Quality Blue?
Quality Blue.
And I ended up
name.
with Silver Vein.
Oh.
Actually, I might have gone with Galvanized because it's a little bit cheaper. And I was just like, yep.
Oh, wow. I see. That is quite expensive. Cages
Gray.
are oddly expensive.
Yeah.
Like the bird cage that we have is like really expensive.
I believe you.
I don't really know why.
Yeah. So I tried. I tried so hard to order the purple one.
But you still
even Stardust.
Still just got gray.
I still bought gray. I can't bring myself to do it. It's funny. Yeah. Like, yeah. You know what? No, I mean, I do splash of color here and there.
You do.
But not in my house.
Yeah.
Everything in my house is black, white, or gray because as soon as I choose anything other than black, white, or gray, I have to think about what goes with it. And I do not have brain space for that. I can't. That's impossible. Yvonne can do it a little bit. Every once in a while, we'll add some navy blue. Like that cat cushion that she made for the little reading nook thing that will probably turn into a makeout nook at some point.
Not there yet.
Not there yet, but I mean, might not be
not that far away.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that.
What, making out in my nook? Weird. With me or
the LAN party's coming up. No, I don't know. Every once in a while, I'd think about what grades are his kids in?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Then you have that like, oh crap moment of like, what were the kids getting up to in that grade when I was in that grade? Or the stories that I would hear from my brother when he was in that grade or whatever, right? Like just, it's like, oh, wow. And like when you're that age, you're like, darn parents.
Yeah, whatever, no big deal.
This is normal.
Yeah.
I wish they'd get off my back.
Yeah.
And then now I'm this age and I'm like, wow, they seem very young. I don't know. Oh man, my brother's a firefighter these days, and he was mentioning the other day about how he went to a call that wasn't a fire, but firefighters will often respond to like medical calls and stuff as well.
Someone fell out of their bed or whatever, and
it was a bunch of like it was a group of chicks that were out clubbing, and he was like, I just can't like. He's like, they look like they should be in like
school.
Yeah. It's like, this is really weird. They look like children. Like, I don't. He's like, I wanted to send them home. Like, it's like, man, yeah, I think we're that old. I think we're that old now. Well,
yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
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 Or they won't. A lot of people are not fine. So, you know that expression, the kids will be fine or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean,
maybe not anymore.
Yeah, if that were true, then all the adults today would be fine. They aren't. Okay, on that note.
Speaking of things that are not okay, I'm trying to find a topic that makes sense for that transition. Something does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do it.
Why not?
Do it. Do it, you coward.
The merch messages are okay, though.
Right. We should explain merch messages. Merch messages are the best way to interact with the show. We don't do super chats. We don't do Twitch bits. We do merch messages. All you got to do is go on LTTStore.com, get into the cart with something that catches your eye, like, oh, I don't know, this bread plushie, or it's finally here. The Luxe edition of the LTT. Oh, no, the cap's open. It's okay. I had already consumed most of that beverage. The Luxe edition of the LTT backpack in a stunning apple leather. Yes, my friends, just in time for Apple to stop using leather, we are using apple leather. It's kind of amazing how good it is. This is my absolutely brutalized. Here, check out how much stuff I load into this thing.
Yes, that's very heavy.
Yeah, this is my like I go hard on this bag
That is also like way overstuffed.
that I've
Like,
been using for
It's pinching here just because he has too much stuff in it.
about 6 months, and it breaks in.
6 months. That's it.
It breaks in just like a leather bag.
Does.
Yeah, it's actually kind of amazing. So it actually fits better than it ever did and looks, other than obviously kind of changing shape according to what you store in it, which I've gone out of my way to put. I've been just carrying. I have 4 screwdrivers in here. I have 2 laptops.
Is one of them the metal one?
No, unfortunately. So I've got like that's a mouse pad. Got my framework, okay, this is going to be a funny one. This it's all touchscreen one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it has like a keyboard like folio thing, but it's two folding sides of a screen. It has held up incredibly well. I'm super happy with this thing. I kept waiting for it to have a problem, for it to, not wear nicely or, scuff in a way that was really undesirable, and just we're really happy with the materials. It's everything you know and love about the existing bag, but more luxurious. Anyway, the point is, in the cart, you leave a message, you'll see a little pop-up for it, and it'll either show up under the show, just like there, that one for Francis P., who just picked up a gift card, or our producer, Dan, will respond to your message, redirect it to someone who can better address it, or even send it over to us for talking about during WAN show after dark, or maybe even right now. Dan, do you have a couple merch messages for us?
I do. Let's see.
Wait, sorry, there's one more thing. Just want to mention this. I don't know if this will be a long-term thing. Right now, the Luxe Backpack is not going to be a regularly stocked item. We are taking orders, and we will do a production run based on how many orders we get. It's everything you know and love about the existing bag, but in a more luxurious material, so it's kind of a known quantity at this point. That does mean that there will be a lead time on delivery. But to kind of make this up to you, we are offering free shipping for your entire order with the purchase of the Luxe bag. There's a code that shows up on the product page along with a whole bunch of pictures, just kind of giving you guys a closer, better look at it. You can see that at LTTStore.com.
People are asking about the zipper pulls. Those are the new zipper pulls.
Oh, yes.
And he was saying the replacement ones are still currently being manufactured.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan. You know what? No, we've shown the like prototype versions of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming just to replace all the ones on the backpacks we've.
So these are
sold.
a polished version of the same new style of zipper pull.
So a smaller run. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you're not going to really be able to see that on your phone or whatever. Yeah. All good. I don't go easy on these things. All right, Dan, want to hit me?
Absolutely. Let's see what we got here. Replacing my backpack because it got stolen. What was the most valuable tech item you've had stolen or lost?
Man, I had a PDA that was lost then stolen. I left it behind in the seats at an ice rink, and when I went back for it, it was gone. Actually, that's not the most expensive though. Have I ever told you about the time I lost my university laptop?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Well, this is a classic Linus moment. It was early, and I was getting ready to commute into school, so it was quite a drive. It was even once I was living with the girlfriend's parents, now wife, not the same person, not separate people. Once I was living with the girlfriend's parents, it was still quite a drive, so it was really early in the morning, and I had to scrape ice or something off of the windshield or just condensation frost. And so I hadn't gotten into the car yet. I just kind of put my laptop on top of the roof, did my thing, and drove away.
Oh.
See you later, laptop. No idea where it fell off.
Yep.
That was my Asus M5NE laptop that I actually DIY built up myself. It was a bare bones, so I bought the CPU, which was actually socketed back in those days. Picked up some RAM, hard drive, and I got an extended battery that was like a big booty hump on it that made it sit up on the table at an angle, but lasted flippin' forever. Actually loved that machine.
Mine was an LG G2.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know about this one.
I left on a plane.
You knew it too, right? And they wouldn't let you back on?
I'm trying to remember the whole story. I don't fully remember everything. It's been a long time.
I remember one key part of the story.
What?
The fact that the phone belonged to Linus Media Group.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't think I've lost anything of my own. Why would I do that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I got back on the plane and then it wasn't in the seat pocket, or they said to me it wasn't in the seat pocket. One of those two things happened. I don't remember which. They either let me on, I got to see myself, or they got someone to go look for me, but they wouldn't let me on. I don't remember which one happened though. But then I had some form of tracking on it. I don't remember what it was at the time. And it was like definitely at the airport and then left the airport and then disappeared. So someone definitely grabbed it.
Bummer.
I don't know. It was like definitely stolen.
For the number of times though that I have lost things, I've had far more times that I've gotten really lucky with things to the point where I still feel pretty good about my ratio.
Me too.
Like, do you remember the time that one of our camera operators left an entire duffel bag loaded with camera equipment just sitting in front of the hotel in Vegas?
Oh yeah.
And we just all got into the car and left for the airport, and they just left it there, and fortunately someone saw it and turned it back into the hotel, but it was full of like thousands of dollars of camera gear. And then when that same camera op did the same thing at an airport in Germany, just left it in the, like, when you disembark and haven't gone through customs and everything and security yet, they left it there. And we had crossed through,
just like
and we're not allowed to go back to get it.
Yeah.
It was just sitting in an airport, which is a really good place for an unlabeled bag full of electronics. When you have a shoot to do, and you need the camera for it. That was, but we got that one back too. Fortunately, someone who worked at the airport knew who we were, and was like, "All right, I'll go look for it."
That's always lucky. Yes. That's very lucky.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
I always tend to find that my hip to knee angle is very unfortunate, and I'm sitting like this. These are my hips, these are my knees, so things will fall out of my pockets. And eventually I just got so fed up with it that I like wear these shorts almost exclusively, and they have zipper pockets, or like the LTT sweatpants, those have zipper pockets, so I'll wear those because I can at least zip up the pocket. But there's 2 times where my wallet has fallen out of my pocket in a taxi. And one of them was on a trip. So I lost all of the receipts that I had for the trip.
Got them.
That sucked. And I lost everything in my wallet, but I wasn't carrying cash. So honestly, the biggest value that was lost was the receipts. If I remember correctly, you got me for it, but it was like, you gave me like a thing instead of money, if I remember correctly. Because you're like, you don't have the receipts. I can't reimburse the cash.
Yeah, like legally, I can't.
No, I know. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm explaining it to them because sometimes I'll talk about this kind of stuff.
No, this was cool. I actually appreciated this a lot.
And people will not really understand how our accounting laws work and how our labor laws work, because
it works 100% need the receipts.
It works some other way over there or something. And it's like, no, if I reimburse this, and without a receipt, I have paid him and he owes income tax on it, period. Like that's, so.
If I remember correctly, the deal was.
So we circumvented it a different way.
Yeah, the deal was.
But he was happy and I was happy, and it was a business expense. So it's not like we did anything morally wrong.
If I remember correctly, it was like, okay, do a video reviewing this thing, and then you can just have it. I think it was
that sounds about right.
Warthog HOTAS.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think that was it. I don't really remember. But either way, yeah. So that was the first one. And then the next one, I called it was an Uber. So I actually had the contact, because the first one was pre-Uber. So I called the taxi agency, and they were just like, you're not getting it back. And I was like, okay. But this one, it was an Uber. So I actually contacted the Uber guy, called him. He was like not doing rides anymore, but drove all the way back. and then tried to just like leave after handing it to me. And I was like, hold on. And I gave him a bunch of cash as like a thank you.
Cool.
So I made it very worth his while to drive back, but he was about to just like drop off the wallet and take off.
I think
and I was like, hold on, you should
be
paid for this.
I think I left a backpack on the SkyTrain once, or my wallet. And it made it all the way to the terminus station, and I contacted TransLink, and I did get it back. I think it was my wallet.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, but ever since then, that second time I left my wallet in the taxi, I was just like, no. I like don't travel without zipper pockets anymore.
Cardinal says that's not true. You can use other methods of substantiation than receipts. Cool, but he didn't have them.
Yeah, because it was paid. That was like in that era. This was quite a while ago. In that era, I would pay for everything in cash on trips because you didn't want to use credit cards.
Yeah, because then the exchange sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole move was before you went on the trip, you would get cash out from the bank.
Yeah.
You'd go with cash on your trip. You'd pay with cash, and then your evidence would be receipts. So I had no form of evidence whatsoever.
Can I just say, shout out Roam Like Home cell phone plans and like reasonable like credit cards and debit cards with reasonable
that are
currency
getting better
exchange
at that.
rates.
Yeah. It's getting so much easier these days, but back then it was a huge pain. You'd have to land, before the trip, you'd have to exchange some money and then just hope that you had enough. You'd have to land immediately upon landing. You'd have to find a place that you can buy a SIM. You'd have to distribute your new SIM phone number to everyone that needs it. Like just all these like really just annoying steps that shouldn't honestly have to happen, but yeah.
Okay, second one I got for you here.
Oh, right. I didn't even realize we were doing a merch message anymore. I had no idea what started that
45
conversation.
tangents. Hi, DLO. Photographer here. I want to get away from Dropbox and set up a NAS, but need backup. Thought about replicating my ZFS encrypted with a friend. Any tips for properly baking a NAS without monthly fees? Backing.
Yeah.
Oh, backing up.
So this is something that does exist. You can do it with Synology. The problem with Synology is you're stuck buying their stupid proprietary expensive NASs. So you're effectively just paying upfront instead of paying for a monthly subscription for a cloud service. And you get to buy your own drives. It would be way better if you could just build a NAS using commodity hardware and then set up features like that easily, because it has never made sense to me that in present year, it's not the simplest thing ever to just keep the encryption key for yourself, send an encrypted something over the internet tubes, and then have someone else be like, hey, I got you, bro. Can you back up some stuff for me? And then it's just encrypted and they have their own key. I think we've talked about this in the past, how there could be potential liability around what the data is.
So this is not legal advice.
Yeah, I'd probably only want to do something like this with someone that I trust, like a lot of things. But I would like something like this to exist, which is one of the reasons that I invested in a startup NAS software company. It's some former Unraid folks, and I actually got an update from them recently. They're still busy beavering away, and they seemed very apologetic when we chatted last weekend that like they hadn't really said anything to us in a long time, and I was like, nope, I'm just about the passivist investor you could possibly imagine. I took very much the same philosophy with the investment that I did with Framework, where I pretty much wrote a check, which is to say that I asked very nicely for Yvonne to write me a check. And then I kissed the money goodbye. And if something comes of it, then great. And if nothing comes of it, then hey, at least I did whatever I possibly could have done to make this thing that I think should exist. So if these guys pull this off, their software will be based on an existing excellent NAS software that is just very obtuse and difficult for moderate to low skill level people to use, and should include an easy version of shared co backup like that. Even with Synology, I found I found the process of setting it up kind of difficult, but we did do a video about it at some point. I have no idea what that video is called. So that's your best option for now in terms of something that is user friendly enough that anyone who's asking me for advice about it could possibly hope to follow along. Oh, right, more topics. Account locking devices sucks.
Oh, yeah.
This is amazing, though. Hello, did you leave a printer here this morning, Monday, July 3rd? I got it working and printed this, but I can't use some of the features until you remove it from your HP account. Can you please take a moment to log in and remove the printer from your account? hpsmart.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Done 3 days later. Enjoy. This is great and heartwarming. This is from the LTT subreddit.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't never
be necessary. Very happy that person actually did follow through and remove it from their account. That's great. Very cool.
But 10 out of 10. But so many devices, A, won't work at all with an account lock, so you won't even be able to get into it and figure out what the problem is necessarily, or if they work, and B, just even if they do work a little bit, no one will bother to unlock them, and they will just end up being either complete e-waste or partial e-waste. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't understand why. It added cost to this printer for HP to implement the smart hardware to make this possible.
What does it do?
I mean, that's a good question. You know what? Maybe that's part of it. Is I don't learn about printers or buy printers anytime other than when I absolutely am forced to.
Yeah.
So, sure. What does it do? Help me out.
Did you know the disaster recovery guide, which is like over 200 pages?
Oh, our internal disaster recovery guide.
Yeah.
Like documentation for if bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're probably going to print it. Like probably around 4 times.
Why?
If the internet is out, we should probably be able to access it.
You mean the whole internet, like
Pretty
mobile
much.
data too?
Sure.
I mean,
it's disasters, man. There's contingencies in there for like if this area is gone.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're not wrong.
We're currently effectively trying to figure out like how many copies do we need. One of the theories is
fine.
1 for each server room and then 1 at each one of our houses. But that might be a lot.
I think 1's probably okay.
It's probably all right.
You said 200 pages?
It's big.
Yeah.
A lot of it will be blank. Not a whole blank page, but there's like a lot of unused space on some of the pages.
Yeah, I think if we went with 1 copy, that's probably okay.
Yeah.
Chat's all mad. Not 1, more than 1. Okay, how about this? 1 and we laminate it.
Hey.
Take that, environment. Who needs microplastics when we can have macroplastics?
Who wrote it? Sean, also known as Whaler on the forum. New IT guy.
Sick. All right.
It's good.
2 and laminate both. I'm not negotiating with you guys. This is not a...
It's like genuinely not up
chat,
to chat at all.
It's actually up to him. I'm just giving my opinion.
Which is pretty solid.
Microsoft finally does it.
Will you feel better having one at your house?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What if something super bad happened and you had no way to access the
I'll
internet?
walk to work. Let's go. Wouldn't take that long. I mean, realistically, what else am I going to do? My family's all dead.
All right. I mean, there's also like, what if, you know, like Google Drive is down or something? Like there's other ways that you could lose access to it without every form of internet being down. 3, 2, 1 backup. I know. It's fine.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay.
All right.
I made a video on that, like actually almost a decade ago at this point.
Yeah, so that's why he's forgotten.
Oh my God. There are things that I made videos on that long ago that I've definitely forgotten, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, like he's not very good at hiding his porn anymore. That video is so bad.
No, it's great. It's actually so good.
We have made some very questionable content choices over the years.
Oh, it's very questionable, but it's actually a pretty good video.
Yeah. I mean, it's not inaccurate.
No.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And it's very funny.
Sounds good to me.
C:/temp. Yep. We've got a man of culture here. All right. Microsoft has finally done it. They have closed their $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard King nearly 2 years. Is that how long this has been dragging out for? Makes sense why it feels like it's been absolutely forever then. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority approved an altered deal where gamers within the European Economic Area, so that's the EU plus 3 other countries, who purchase current and future Activision games will have the right to stream them on whatever service they want, while Ubisoft will hold the cloud gaming rights to current Activision games and those made over the next 15 years everywhere else.
What?
Huh?
What?
This means that while Microsoft will own the games, they will have to get permission and pay a license fee to Ubisoft in order to add them to Xbox Game Pass or any other streaming service.
Why Ubisoft?
I am sure that somebody knows that, but it isn't us and it isn't anyone in our chat.
What?
Can I just put on my tinfoil hat for a second here? Is it that maybe Ubisoft? Okay, hold on. Now I'm trying really hard.
I really don't get it because someone's like, Ubisoft is French and this is a European thing, so maybe they found a French gaming company. But isn't like a massive percentage of Ubisoft owned by Tencent?
I mean, I don't know. This makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, everything about it. The fact that this is a 15-year thing. I mean, Microsoft is a company that thinks in 10-plus year terms. This makes effectively no difference as far as I can tell. Like, yeah, it's a short-term inconvenience, but in the long term, Microsoft will just own all of those IPs and all of the streaming rights because there's no way they're going to renew this deal.
Here's a spicy question. Would you prefer Microsoft or would you prefer Tencent? Because they're both trying to accomplish the same thing. And no one really seems to talk about the Tencent side of this, but everyone's super pissed about the Microsoft side of this. And in my opinion, if we're going to be super pissed about it, we should be super pissed at the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talk about consolidation in general terms, and I don't think anyone's happy about Tencent having their fingers in just about everything gaming.
It's like way worse, in my opinion.
The Logitech G Cloud was something I was really surprised to find a Tencent end user license agreement in, and I talked about that in my review of it. I'm sitting here going, sorry, what? I have to agree to a Tencent license agreement in order to turn on this device? I don't know if that's the case anymore, but it definitely was when I did my review.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ubisoft has the increase in yeah. A number of companies wanted the cloud gaming rights for Activision Blizzard games and had to essentially pitch the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK. The interview-like process meant the CMA picked out the companies that would work best with its concerns over cloud gaming, and then it was up to Microsoft to ultimately decide on which company to restructure its deal with. Okay, so there was a process here, but it doesn't make it feel any less kind of...
It still seems weird as heck.
Roundabout and whack.
Yeah.
Do we use the word whack still?
I don't know.
I think it's whack.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
It's whack.
Yeah.
You can quote me on that.
Yeah.
The Microsoft, Activision, Ubisoft three-way thing here, it's whack. So, in summary, Microsoft will own the games, but they will have to... Oh, no, I already said this. Presumably, Europeans will be limited by what service has made available, but then logistics. Okay. The FTC, however, says it is still planning on challenging the acquisition and will be submitting an argument to an appeals court in December. According to the terms of the now finalized, but I don't know, the FTC might challenge it, deal, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick will remain at the company until the end of this year to facilitate a smooth transition, after which he's set to leave. So at least Luke gets one of his big asks, which is to get Bobby Kotick out of Activision Blizzard King.
That's great.
In other news, Sony has announced that they are launching a PS5 cloud streaming service later this month, though at launch, they're launching PS5 cloud streaming later this month, though at launch, these titles will only be available to stream on a PS5 console. Which titles? Okay, I don't know. My notes are a little weird here. Microsoft, meanwhile, currently controls an estimated 60 to 70% of cloud gaming. Our discussion question is, in an industry where console gaming is becoming less and less important, is Microsoft's expansion into cloud gaming a genuine threat? So first of all, I think console gaming is actually still very important, and so does Microsoft. But it is also very clear that Microsoft sees cloud and console gaming as things that go hand in hand, because a console is one of the best understood by the general consumer ways of getting a cloud streaming device into someone's house and hooked up to their TV.
Yeah.
Yes, Microsoft's expansion into cloud gaming is a genuine threat. They're the only credible player that has a significant foothold in the space. I mean, Stadia disappeared. Luna. When's the last time Amazon Luna crossed your mind?
I barely even remember that existed.
Well, it's not in Canada, so that might be one reason. Like, I wanted to do a video on it recently.
I've heard of this.
But yeah, here, Luke laptop screen.
Yeah.
Amazon Luna, cloud gaming service, Sonic, and whatever that is. Oh, that's probably Fortnite. No, I figured it out.
You got there.
Yeah. So Ubisoft makes another appearance in this topic.
Yeah.
That's something.
Jackbox games are fun.
Yeah, but really, that's one of their 4 highlight things that I'm sure if they had 6 highlight things, they would have populated those other 2 spots.
There's definitely some aspirational space here.
Yeah, the Prime Gaming one, not even having 8 titles.
Oof.
Now I'm looking to see if there's any duplicate ones across here.
B?
Actually,
what
doesn't look like.
B
I don't
game?
know.
Sorry, I need to see what this B game is.
Does it have Jerry Seinfeld?
Why does it look like Netflix? B Simulator?
Does the bee date someone? Like,
local PvP. What?
Metascore 58.
Oof.
Yeah, that's.
Did they display that? Was that interesting? So they. Hey, you want our games? They're junk.
Wow, this is a B tier game from 4 years ago, and that's on the front page.
Oh my!
Really, you're not going to acknowledge that at all?
What? Oh, it's pretty good. That took me a second. No, that was good. It was good.
Oh, are you still poking around in there?
I was, but I don't think it's really worth it, to be completely honest.
B tier.
Hey, you want to play every single Ubisoft game that are all the same, but with different skins on them?
Oh, okay. Are you still poking around at it?
No, I'm just salty about Ubisoft.
No, Ubisoft has other games.
Oh, do
wow.
they? Which tower simulator game do you want to play?
Okay. Oh, this is just in alphabetical order. This makes sense. That is wow.
That seems like a bad way to do that.
It really, really, truly does, doesn't it?
Wow.
I mean, Far Cry. I haven't played one since the second one,
Creed
but sure.
are like exactly the same, just with skins. That's the comment I was making.
But Monopoly is different.
Monopoly is different.
Monopoly is just too close to real life now, though. I don't think people like playing that game anymore.
Yeah, it's a little depressing.
Wow. Ubisoft doesn't have that many games.
They have Watch Dogs, and they have Far Cry, and they have Assassin's Creed, which are all the same thing.
Is Ghost Recon still relevant at all?
It's the last time I played it, I angrily refunded within the 2-hour window.
Really?
The last Ghost Recon I played, yeah.
Okay.
I disliked it quite heavily.
All right, fair enough.
I don't remember why. I think, was it this one?
Is it because you're a salty gamer?
Was it Wildlands? No, because I thought I was for a long time. And then a few recent games came out and I was like, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not the one who's wrong.
There's a lot of Ubisoft published titles that are definitely not in that list, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know people are actually pointing out in chat games that are not there. But hey, you can play Uno.
You can definitely play Uno. And there's Trackmania, and I've actually heard a lot of very positive things about Trackmania. I've never played it myself.
But the thing is, if there's only that many games, aren't you better off just buying those games instead of signing up for a subscription service?
He's baiting me right now. I think that's true anyways for like a multitude of reasons. It's also better for the developers in a big way.
But then you have to buy a computer instead of Amazon Luna, which is very popular, I heard. Actually, I mean, you know what? No, I would love to know. Are any of you using Luna? Do you like Luna? Like, are these servers just empty and therefore the quality of service is super high? It's possible.
Oh, they can feed everybody like 200 megabit a second because nobody's using it?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking
right?
about servers being empty, can I make an appeal really quick to the developers of BattleBit?
Oh.
Please. You gotta change the map selection thing. It's so bad. It's so bad, I am determined this is why players are leaving. This one feature. The map ends. You vote for a mode, and then you vote for a map. But for some reason, it just doesn't care what anyone votes for anymore, and you can't necessarily pick for the game mode that you want. So certain people only want to play a particular type of game mode. I personally like Conquest because it's more of the old school Battlefield style where you have all the different vehicles, all the different things are in the game. It's more fun, in my opinion, for me. But I can't vote on it twice in a row because they hide it for some reason if you just played it. And then even if the whole lobby is like, you know what, we want to play this specific map or this specific game mode, it'll just be like, lol, I don't care, and just randomly select something else. And they've had a huge player drop, and they release like a new map and some other stuff to try to offset it. I don't think that's going to change anything because people can't play what they want to play.
This is exactly the same problem that I had with Halo Infinite.
Yeah, like
there wasn't even in Halo Infinite, they didn't even pretend that there was a way for you to say what modes or what maps you wanted to play.
Yeah.
You just now you can pick modes more easily. I don't know. I think you're still just stuck in a map rotation, but it was incredibly frustrating. It just feels like gaming has taken some significant steps back. You youngins out there, did you know that you used to be able to just go into the server browser, sort by 24/7 dust, find a server that was not empty but not full, and double click it, and then you would just
be playing dust,
play D-Dust
as much as you want,
as long as you want. And then
I used to play Badwater in TF2. I would just search 24/7 space Badwater.
Gold Rush for me, but sure,
whatever works.
Like so you know what I suspect is that the playtime is longer if you force people to play maps and modes that they don't really care about and grind them in order to get a bigger dopamine hit when they actually get the one they want. If I had to guess, I would say that's what's happening
in
here.
my opinion, to follow that up, I think it might be short-term gain, long-term loss.
I think so too. I think you're right.
Because it's dreadful to dive into that. So maybe, you play for a long time because you're like, I really want to do this one thing. And then you can't do it. And you're like, I really want to do that. So you stick around until you can do it. But then you look at
And when the new shiny comes along, I think you're easier to pull away.
Yeah.
Because you can't just play the game the way you want to play it.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
And like it kills me, man. Because there's only, I don't care. There's a particular way that I want to play BattleBit, and it's gotten to the point where we spend a very significant amount of time hunting for the ability to play the game that we want to play it, and it's just a massive percentage of the time it's just ripped away because even if the whole lobby, you can watch it happen. You'll play a conquest map, and then this will be a whole group of people that is like, yep, we want to play conquest. So the vote thing comes up, and if conquest is available, it wins by votes, or you'll watch it happen. It won't even be available for whatever stupid reason. So everyone clicks random, hoping to get it, and then it just picks something different, and then everyone leaves. You'll see the load into the next map. You'll see it'll be full, and then just everybody's just whoop, because now everyone's trying to hunt for the server that they actually wanted to play on again. It's like, man, come on. I think it's killing the game, and that sucks because BattleBit is really fun, and I feel like it's going to die because of this. So please save your game, and I think that's the reason why it's dying. I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. I mean, if he could build a successful online business, then he'd have more to show for it than this shirt.
Yeah.
What color is it, Luke? Tell us, Luke.
Non-official blue. Non-recognized blue.
Convoy83 put this pretty well. Luna is of so little importance, work can't be bothered to block it at the firewall. And that seems to be the prevailing sentiment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, apparently from the people who have used it, it's decent, and most people have just never heard of it, and it seems to be kind of a redheaded stepchild at this point, and that no one at Amazon seems to care about it. I mean, that kind of checks out, given that one of the highlighted games they have on the homepage is a rando game from 4 years ago. Do you want to talk about Google defaulting to passkeys? Oh, we should probably do sponsors.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
all right.
We got 12.
We have 12 sponsors?
Sorry, no. 12 minutes until sponsors.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
The show is brought to you today by Kudos. Our sponsor, they're an early Santa for you. Where did he even get this?
Amazing.
Kudos is a free browser extension that helps you earn more whenever you shop online. And only for this October, Kudos will 5x your credit card rewards at select merchants, including Walmart, Dell, Samsung, and more. In other words, you could get up to 25% back with Kudos. That's free money. And the best part is that Kudos is completely free. You can add Kudos to your desktop or your iPhone with just a few clicks, and Kudos will automatically appear at checkout to handle the rest. They say the average user saves over $750 a year. So embrace the free rewards from Early Santa and don't miss out on earning up to 25% back this month. Use code WAN to get Kudos for free by clicking the link below or going to joinkudos.com/WAN. The show is also brought to you by Grammarly. Oh, wow, we haven't worked with Grammarly in a long time. Grammarly plays an important role in both business and day-to-day life, and it often begins with writing emails. The worst thing you want is grammar or a tone error to jeopardize a potential business deal. And our sponsor, Grammarly, is here to help. Grammarly offers generative AI assistant that levels up your productivity when it comes to scripts, business emails, talking points, and more. And that's examples of ways that we use it now. Plus, Grammarly is free to use and try out, and it works on all your favorite apps. One of our favorite things about Grammarly is the ability to customize our preferred communication style with the set voice option. I prefer passive-aggressive. The features don't stop there. The reply feature helps us summarize emails and suggests responses to help get through our inboxes faster. So sign up for an account at grammarly.com/WANShow10. And if you want to get access to extra features, you can use that code to get 20% off Grammarly Premium. Did I say code? That link. Sorry. Maximum Settings is our final sponsor for today. Are you still gaming on a potato? What if I told you you can actually play the newest games on your old potatoes? What are you even talking about, Dennis? Maximum Settings, our sponsor, is making this happen. Oh, they offer high-powered cloud gaming PCs built on Linux Mint for you to rent and game to your heart's content. They recently transitioned from a virtual machine-based cloud gaming service to a purely bare metal solution. And by switching to bare metal, you no longer have to worry about the performance hit that comes with using a virtual machine. The best part, Maximum Settings doesn't distribute computer resources to multiple people at once. All the resources of the PC you order will be dedicated to you. They even have computers running 7900 XT graphics cards for that sweet 4K gaming. The process is simple. Just pick the PC you want, and within 2 to 5 minutes, your cloud gaming PC will be ready. So hop on the cloud gaming trend today and check out maximum settings at the link down below. This is going to be hilarious. We have actually worked with a service that had a similar program in the past, and the second we promoted them, they ran out of machines and were backordered for months, because there is actually a demand for this kind of bare metal remote computer rather than a cloud gaming console, because you play games that you own just on a remote machine that you don't have to own. So it's essentially hardware rental. Instead of having to buy the hardware up front.
You might have a sick computer at home, but maybe need something for the road, whatever. Yeah.
And maybe your home internet, you don't have something with a decent upload available, for example, or something like that. Because you could also just stream on your home computer if you do have a sick computer. But maximum settings. Good luck, guys.
Hopefully you've got some stock.
Here comes the love hug. All right, Dan, hit us.
Sure. How about a softball?
Ooh, I like softballs.
Well, this one's about badminton, though. Who would win in a badminton match, Luke or Dan?
Oh, Dan.
What?
Luke's body's broken. Like, I don't even know if he can move his arm back right now.
I'm not 100% sure.
Let's see.
I don't think I can either.
This is about... Ooh.
This would be very interesting to watch. I'll tell you that
honestly,
much. I love how we're all getting older.
It's warning me of danger right there.
My shoulders don't work.
Yeah, I can't really...
We went to the gym.
His shoulders are also messed up.
Yeah, we went to the gym the other day, and I
gotta pull it back.
I couldn't feel the left side of my face after we were done. It was concerning.
Yeah, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. That was good. It was it was good to do that.
Couldn't feel the left side of your foot. What do you mean it was good to do that? What? Sorry, what? Did I miss something here?
He has...
Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
No. Just old nerve damage injury.
Oh, got it.
My shoulder aggravates it, which is kind of fun.
Really? So your shoulder,
it's a brachial plexus injury.
The shoulder bone's connected to the face bone.
No, it's like collarbone sort of thing. So the nerves come down the side of the neck, they go underneath the collarbone, and then they go out through the arm. So my collarbone hurts, which means that my hand tingles and some of my face goes down.
Wow.
It's very strange.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So when we're doing stuff, we're dealing with my weird shoulder issues and his weird shoulder issues.
And I
very shoulder issue prone environment.
I used to have a personal trainer to recover from this injury, and we focused a lot on the back stuff. And so every time I do something with a back exercise, it's 300 pounds. And then I go to lift my arm above my head, and I think I can do 5 pounds. Properly. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. VNG Supernova says, I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
It's me and Luke. Except we're old and not doing drugs.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, next up. So I think that would be
anyway,
who dies first.
In terms of who I think would win, man, Luke would try really hard. I don't know. You know what? I think it might be Dan.
I feel like we got to do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I got a whole badminton center you guys can use.
We're working on it.
Down for whatever.
No, there's actually one now, isn't there?
Oh yeah. There's a little gym. There's a little gym that you guys could use right now if you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to have made that one too.
WAN show after dark badminton.
It's ages ago.
After party. All right, Dan, hit me again.
Hey, WAN team, what do you think about hardware keys for security? Is it worth using?
It kind of depends.
I did for a while, and I just find Google Authenticator so
I've been a little
much
demystified about them.
More convenient.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that...
Disenchanted, I think maybe is what you're going for.
What did I say?
I don't remember, but it seemed a little off.
That's probably wrong. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
Whatever. Yeah. Because there's an issue of if you secure things with it, a lot of people attach them to their keys, and then if someone gets your keys, they have your stuff.
Yeah, but then there's also cases where that could make a lot of sense, like a physical factor.
Totally. Like people are saying hardware keys are much more secure. It's yeah, in a lot of cases they they are.
They can be.
But I think their flaws are often overlooked.
And one of the problems for me is that if you don't have your hardware key on you, there is no way to get into that account. So what users will tend to do is set up alternate authentication for when they don't have their hardware key on them.
There's also
having multiple factors that are or factors rather than and factors.
Means you might as well not even have it.
Means you might as well not have it.
And there's also a ton of services that do not work unless it's set up that way when it comes to hardware keys. They'll be like, oh, you can add a hardware key. You just also have to have an or. And then it's like,
okay, why did I even bother doing this?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of caveats. I think they're super cool. I think if you're in a very high security environment where everything can work with no ors, it's just ands.
Yeah, you just have an outboard motor.
If it's just ands, then it can be really fantastic. But a lot of services in your day-to-day life are not going to work that way. I would even say most, and I would also argue that a huge amount of the most important ones to you are probably not going to work that way. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, they're neat, but often not able to be used to the degree that you would actually want them to be able to be used to.
Like, man, I'd be super down in theory for a hardware key that's like nuclear launch, you know, like this hardware key and this hardware key. Like if it was configurable to that degree.
Dual
and like
key.
Luke and I could each wear necklaces with like a hardware YubiKey on them. Like, okay, we need to hack the Floatplane mainframe to update the server cloud. And we, you know, both plug them into like both sides of a laptop and we're like, yeah. You know, whatever, right? Like
we got into the Gibson. Yeah, like that would be sick. But a lot of that stuff never really. A lot of the early promises of hardware keys never really caught on, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, last one I got for you today.
Really, the last one today
for this segment. You mentioned the need for Android or iOS. Having done the Linux challenge, what changes on Linux phone operating systems would you need to see before trying something like Graphene OS or Proton Phone OS?
I have no idea.
A lot of people have been telling me to try Graphene OS when I get my new Pixel.
There's a couple comments about that. Yeah.
Wait, because I thought Android is Linux to a degree.
Yeah. At least it used to be. I don't know if it's
so. What do they mean by Linux operating systems like Graphene OS?
Because Graphene OS is just like a fork of Android, if I understand that correctly, right?
Yeah, which is also Linux
and open source.
So they just mean a different Android, sort of, but also Android is Linux, so a different Linux or something. Like it's I don't know. It seems like sort of a weird distinction to draw.
I'm interested in Graphene OS, but if it doesn't have a call screening option, I will not use it.
Mm-hmm.
I will not use any phone OS that does not have call screening options for like the rest of my life, as long as we still call each other using phone numbers and there is at least one option that has call screening. If Android got rid of call screening and iOS had call screening, which I believe it does currently have, I would immediately switch to iOS. That's how important that is to me.
Got it. Maybe there's like a third-party thing you could add or something like that. GM Shippo says it does.
Nice. Then I might try it.
So that's something. Yeah, I don't see... they don't have compatibility listed for 8th generation Pixels yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't support it soon. It seems like it's got a pretty active community around it. A lot of passionate people. And I don't think Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pros are in people's hands yet. I'm honestly not sure. I know that the embargo's up for reviews, but I don't know when they start shipping to individual users. When did you order yours?
Last week.
Oh, okay.
I'll be getting it this Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're like right in the launch window here.
Yeah.
Did you get the Pro or the non? You got the Pro, right?
I did.
That came with the watch. I knew you were going to get the Pro.
I actually wasn't going to get the Pro.
Nah, you were going to get the Pro.
I was not.
I knew it.
I literally had a saved cart that was not the Pro.
And I knew that cart would never get checked out.
Why?
It's just not the right one for you.
Okay.
You just need a bigger screen.
You want to know the real answer?
Which
I don't know if it's going to make them like me more or less, but you probably know what it is.
Because it comes with the watch, so you can sell it?
No.
Oh, okay, hold on.
So I'm pretty sure the cheaper one came with the watch too.
Let me think. What's the real reason?
It's kind of lame. It's like actually kind of lame.
Does it come in a slightly different color?
No.
I'm racking my brain here too.
Yeah, it's not something stupid like the stupid wider refresh rate on the display.
No, it's not going to. Yeah, that's dumb. I even read that on the spec sheet and was like, what?
Well, no, it's a power saving thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, wider refresh rate.
Sure.
Hey, it's a lot of work to refresh a screen at 1 hertz. For real though. Like no, because like decaying and whatnot. Yeah, it's a whole thing. You know what? I don't know. Actually, I just thought it would be down to bigger screen. It has more RAM. I know you're going to use it like for flipping ever until it dies. So.
By the way, the call screening thing, I don't know if that's right. By call screening, what I specifically mean is not its ability to say, like, this is a suspicious caller. It's when someone calls me, I want to be able to press a button and have my phone talk to them and tell the person that I'm screening the call. And then when they respond, I want what they say to turn into text on my screen. And then I can decide to answer the phone or not. That is specifically the feature that I'm talking about.
So that's why you never pick up.
What? I don't screen your calls.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I screened Riley once. Did I tell you about that?
No.
It was from a phone number I didn't recognize.
Oh, okay.
So I screened it. And then he was like, and I answered it because he said it was Riley. And I was like, okay, cool. But I get spam calls like once a day.
Yeah, he doesn't screen my calls. He doesn't have to because I'm in his phone book, so he can just ignore my calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
He used to be, no, it's not like that anymore, but he used to be really bad about picking up my calls. I don't know what it was. Maybe living in a basement and also just not picking up my calls.
Reception issues was actually a problem for a while there.
It's funny how there's always something that's a problem
Google's
other than
phone and have the stuff on that. I don't know if that's 100% true. Because that call screening is not available on all Android phones. It's only available on Pixels.
I do not know.
I could be wrong. I'll look more into it later, but it's not just the warning. It's specifically the screen this call button that I want. Anyways, I was 100% going to buy the cheaper one.
Yep, and then I knew it. All right, hit me.
I did it because you convinced me on WAN Show.
Nice! Yes! Which is why I knew it.
If I didn't ask on WAN Show, I would have just bought the cheaper one, and honestly, probably been fine with it.
Yep. No, you'll like it better.
But I think because I didn't have much trust in the longevity of the device.
That's fair. I mean,
and I think honestly,
kind of a Pixel guy.
Yeah, I think buying the Pro is honestly a bit of a gambling that it will last longer than I honestly expect it might.
Yeah, because it has the same SoC, but it's driving a higher resolution display. So will you feel the lag more as it ages? Maybe. Maybe not, but maybe. But
the counter argument there,
yes,
which I don't know if you were even saying, but I was kind of interpreting, is like, what do I do on my phone?
Nothing.
I used messaging apps, email.
You do. Phone call.
I play chess.
Or avoid phone call.
Both of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Avoid phone call is apparently like my most important feature on the entire phone.
I believe you.
And like very, very rarely, the only higher level gaming I'll do other than chess is I might play Slay the Spire like once a month on my phone.
Right. Yeah, I used to be a big like CAN gamer.
Yeah, I'm not I am still now, I guess, but it's chess, which is like not a problem to run anything.
I'm all about the Google News feed for my CAN needs now.
But like you don't need a fast phone for that.
Is it that the games just got too involved? Maybe that's part of it. Like I can't just jump into a game. Like I okay, at risk of, TMI here, I don't take 20 minutes to drop off the kids at the pool, right?
Yeah,
so it's
I'm relatively efficient.
Yeah, so I don't have time to like click through 18 different boxes that I opened today and then queue for a match and like sit and so it's maybe there are still really casual mobile games that could be good for can time, but I'm all about the news now. Maybe I just got old.
There's a couple, like there's a Final Fantasy game that I was all excited about that I got and played like twice, and then I was just like, oh, because I never have. The play sessions are too short. KOTOR, exactly the same. Play sessions are way too
short. Which Final Fantasy game?
I don't remember.
Was it like a pixel remake or something? Or
you mentioned it, so I picked it up.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
Oh man,
I could find it, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. What's it called?
Let me see.
Man, there's a lot of Final Fantasy games for mobile.
I installed Warcraft Rumble, played it once, was like, wow, this is a cash grab, and immediately uninstalled it. It was free though, so I don't feel that bad. Final Fantasy Dimensions?
I've been meaning to play that. I haven't even played it yet.
So it seems cool. It's just
not toilet compatible.
Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe if you're on a trip or something, but then I feel like you're gonna bust out the.
You can bring your Switch.
Yeah. So it's like.
Well, my intention is to play it on an Android TV device. That's what I was planning to do. I was going to play it on the Shield.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's no way I would play that on my phone because it's just the touch interface is just so clunky. Why are we doing this by choice?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the purchase. I actually do think I'll get my time out of it, but I think it'll be those like I am unexpectedly stuck here for like an hour.
Yeah,
I have nothing to do, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I have that Final Fantasy game on my phone. Sweet.
Yeah.
So like I think I'll get play out of it.
You do need to play 6 at some point. Yeah, it is actually my favorite game. I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal.
I know what the deal's going to be.
If you play Final Fantasy...
You have to do it first.
Okay, can you just at least hear out the deal first? If you play Final Fantasy 6, I will watch Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Hackers.
Okay.
And I'll play the Titanfall 2 campaign. I'll do all three of those things. He's been riding me about all three of these things for actual literal years.
To the point now where there's no way any of them can live up to any hype.
No, not even close.
It's impossible. He's going to be disappointed with every one of them.
You must do these things before you die or your life is not complete.
Okay. I mean, I'm down. Sure.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so what
I'm part of this now.
What happens?
I can't stop.
What happens
it's too friendly.
Yeah.
What happens if I play it and then you don't?
No. There'll be milestones. I'll tell you milestones after which I have to do a thing.
Okay.
Deal, right?
Deal.
Okay. All right.
Is there some what's the best way to play it?
You just asked a question. It's about to start a war in the comments section.
What?
I mean, as someone who, grew up on it, hold on. Let me just see if I can make sure I get this right.
Are you doing a poll or something?
As someone who grew up with it, I would say the Ted Woolsey translation of the original English version of Final Fantasy VI, which was called Final Fantasy III at the time.
Oh my.
Has so much character that it outweighs the inaccuracies and the quirks. However, there are much more accurate translations and even versions of the game with extra content, such as Final Fantasy VI for the Game Boy Advance. Because you got to remember, this game has been released like
a billion
10 flipping times.
It's like the Skyrim of Final Fantasy.
It was released for Super Nintendo and somehow has never gotten, I don't know, I guess the latest Pixel remaster is maybe the closest to like really, getting a real, layer of polish on it. But okay, so there's the original for the SNES. It was released for the PlayStation as part of an anthology. It was released on Game Boy Advance. It was released for PC in like kind of a kludgy, crappy one. It was released for Android. The Pixel remaster came out for PC. That's 6 off the top of my head, and there's probably more. Wow, sea lions skate on this thin ice. No, but look. I think iconic lines like "son of a submariner" have charm. Okay,
I enjoy that line,
even if they were not true to the original intent of the writers for the game.
What does that mean?
It doesn't matter. It means whatever you want it to mean.
Conrad thinks I should play the Pixel Remaster.
That's probably the one to play. It's got a lot of modern quality of life features. Like I played through Final Fantasy IX on PC. I bought it again on Steam and played through it, and it has this feature where you can just turn off battle difficulty. You can just be like, no, I just want to do 9,999 damage with every hit because I'm finding this dungeon really boring. And so it has modern quality of life features. However, I would... You know what? No, I'm not gonna advise you how to play it. You play it however you like to play it.
It sounds like the worst form of subs versus dubs I've ever seen.
Yeah,
what is subs versus dubs?
No, I don't care. This is fine. You're gonna play the three. What way do you think I should play it? I'll play it whatever.
No. Because I want you to enjoy it. So if you get bored in a frustrating dungeon like the Magitech facility or something like that, and you're just like, oh, I got on the wrong conveyor and it's dragging me away. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to blitz through a couple battles. I'm not going to tell you, no, that's not the correct way to enjoy the game.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I wasn't even really paying attention to that feature portion. I just meant version of the game. So do you still think Pixel Remaster?
Well, I haven't played the Pixel Remaster.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would happily just, drop into it for a little bit and say, okay, yeah,
do you want to verify for me? Or should I just try to go?
I would say that everything that I've seen about the Pixel Remaster,
a lot of people have been very positive about
has been very, very positive. It looks like they have done a good job of updating the artwork while remaining true to the original style. Lots of modern creature comforts, and without unnecessary, stupid, ugly changes. I would say that's probably the best way to go, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to immerse myself in any of the remakes for little reasons, like they rename items, they rename spells, and for me,
I don't like that.
I find
like that they did that.
I find the old limitations, I find them charming. I find the misspellings of, some of the Esper's names because it was an 8-character limit quaint. It is a relic of its time. And so
if you think it's more legit to play
well, I don't.
I will do that.
I don't, because I haven't played the Pixel Remaster, right? Okay. So I don't. Why am I calling it a remaster? Remaster. Why are you not calling me on this?
I honestly didn't notice until you said remaster. Some of the charm of some of these old games is struggling and fighting through stuff, though.
No, that's true. And there's ways that you can kind of overcome it with emulation to a degree. Like one of the things that I would do when I played through later, not on my Super Nintendo, like on an emulator, is just set the emulation speed to like 20x. And then one of the cool things about Final Fantasy VI, that's a feature that I have seen repeated, but often see missed, is that if you just hold the confirm button as you are going into a battle, it will just auto fight. Every character will just fight and just, kill stuff. So if you're over leveled and you're just trying to like make your way through a dungeon, you can just like turn emulation speed up to 20x and it'll just be like, and so as long as you don't overestimate your leveledness and get annihilated while you're before you pull your finger off the button, then there's little things that you could do like that if you wanted to actually play like an SNES ROM, or I have a cartridge. If you wanted to pull out the Super Nintendo that you brought to your first job interview, I would be happy to loan you my cartridge. But it's an older game, and being able to save anytime you want as an adult with a life,
that would be helpful.
Kind of a big deal.
It's very likely I would end up playing it in like small chunks.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Oh man,
if Pixel Remaster is totally chill, I will probably go that route.
Yeah, the Warden, Meteo, greater than Meteor, 100%. It's just a character limit thing. Yeah. I don't even think that was a character limit thing, because I think there were spells that were longer than that. And like
Meteo just sounds like the spell version of Meteo.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I have no issue with that at all.
And okay, there's things that were janky. Like it's Fire 2, Fire 3. Because there weren't enough characters for Firaga, right? Which is what all of those are called now. And, Lightning was just Bolt. Bolt 2, Bolt 3.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Ice 2, Ice 3. Holy is called Pearl for some reason. So that's interesting. There's definitely some confusing things about the Woolsey translation. And so you'll have opponents that are weak against Holy. And as a kid, as far as I could tell, there was absolutely no way to hit them for their weakness. So there were problems.
Let's see. I've got something for you here. Mark has sent me a message. He's just got an email from 23andMe.
It's because they took out any religious stuff. But then they didn't take out the weaknesses against Holy. It just couldn't be a spell name, apparently. So it must have just been one of those incomplete, like Sony America sanitization. So I know that there's some things in Final Fantasy VI that were changed for the North American release. Like the dancers were less provocative in their, pixel art way, for example. And I think there's an incident of
Pixels less round.
like drinking that is turned into like soda or something when it was actually alcohol or something like that. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Mark has just sent me a message saying he got an email from 23andMe about his data. Should I send that over to you guys to have a look at?
Sure.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay. You know which address to send it to, right?
I'll make sure he knows.
Oh, all right, sure. Yep, thank you. Cool. Are we supposed to do topics now? What on earth are we talking about?
You're talking about topics for another 45 minutes.
Oh, cool. Do you want to talk about Intel's new graphics card that everyone is talking about and really excited about?
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad, because there isn't one.
Oh.
I mean, there's a graphics card, but nobody's talking about it, and nobody's
cares.
excited.
So this is this, what is this? Is this Arc 3? Or
no. This is Arc Alchemist. This is still first generation Arc, but this new card, the A580, sits in between the A750 and the A380, okay? It has 24 Xe cores, 24 ray tracing units, and matches the A750 with 512 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth and 8 gigs of RAM. The release was made with very little fanfare, and its pricing at $180 puts it only $20 below some models of the A750. It is not very exciting.
Why? Why is it not exciting? Just why?
I don't know. I would hazard a guess that this has something to do with. It was okay. All of this is speculation. This is all speculation, because remember how it was rumored that Intel was basically sitting on like warehouses of GPUs that they couldn't sell yet because the drivers weren't done, and like there's been a lot of bumps in the road. This was announced a year ago, this GPU, alongside Arc 3 and Arc 7, and it just hasn't materialized all this time. So if I had to guess why they're launching this thing, I would say it's because they just had them already, and they have to do something with them at some point. And so I think this is just their way of putting them out there, recouping some of their losses. I mean, we already knew, looking at the size of the A770's die and the price of that card compared to other similar die-sized, similar VRAM configured GPUs from AMD and NVIDIA, that Intel is not making money on these things. And this is about getting a generation out there, getting their driver development going, putting some silicon in gamers' hands, incentivizing developers to optimize for Arc, which clearly worked really well with Bethesda, and just understanding that this ain't going to be perfect. And we're very grateful to our first generation customers. Hey, don't worry, Battlemage will be better, we hope. And okay, I mean, maybe this is about telling shareholders we've launched the whole lineup now. Right. I can't, get rid of dead stock, hit a milestone, whatever the reason is. It can't be, we think this is a really competitive product at a great price and we think it's going to sell like hotcakes. That much is very clear. It's not like Intel doesn't know how to benchmark a GPU. Sure, they can figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it won't get you banned from Counter-Strike 2.
Hey! And it can play Starfield now.
In other news...
Oh, yeah. There's the note. Starfield running 117% faster or something.
Yeah, Intel updated the drivers for all their Arc cards, adding support for the A580, but also claiming significant performance gains. While many of the games listed were older titles, Intel did claim up to 149% improvement at 1440p high settings, and up to 117% faster performance at 1080p with ultra settings for Starfield, which is pretty exciting. I am really glad that the rumors ended up being false about Intel dropping out and giving up on discrete GPUs. It seems like they have, if they've stayed the course for this long, there's no way we're not going to see Battlemage, and I would be very surprised if Battlemage doesn't end up being somewhat competitive.
Decently solid is all I'm really hoping.
Yeah, and realistically, I've talked about this before. AMD has a money furnace, and they have lots of money fuel to throw in their money furnace. Even if Battlemage isn't amazing, even if it's not an industry leader, as long as it's a little bit better than Alchemist, then at least they can continue to go to the investors and go, hey, but yeah, the other guy's still ahead, but we're making up ground here. Stick with us till Celestial. We got this. And maybe we have a legitimate third player in discrete GPU, which would be good not just for gamers, but also for the other industries that are using GPUs. Like, how freaking tired are we of NVIDIA not caring at all about gamers because they're so busy shipping every wafer that they can possibly book with TSMC to the AI machine learning industry for crazy higher profits. We need more competition in that space.
Yeah, 100%.
Because all of those high-priced GPUs, that cost will get passed along to you at some point once the VCs are tired of just throwing money into their money-burning furnaces.
Yeah.
All right. Time to have a look at the 23andMe breach email. So this went to one of our staffers. Let's fire up my laptop here. We are following up on an email that we sent earlier this week regarding our ongoing security investigation. We learned certain profile information, which a customer creates and chooses to share with their genetic relatives, and the DNA relatives feature was accessed from individual accounts without the account user's authorization. So you decided who you wanted to share it with, and it was accessed by someone else. While the investigation is ongoing, we believe the threat actor was able to access certain accounts in instances where the usernames and passwords that were used were the same as those used on other websites that had been previously compromised. So, so if you go on a site like haveibeenpwned.com, you can find out if a username password combo has been already breached, and make sure that you change that and don't use it anywhere else. And also, don't do that. Use unique passwords on every site and use a password manager, please.
This doesn't line up for me, but we can talk more about that later.
How does this impact you? We have identified your DNA relative's profile as one that was impacted in this incident. Specifically, there was unauthorized access to one or more accounts that were connected to you through DNA relatives. As a result, in this feature was exposed to the threat actor. Great. So your profile information was exposed. You can see a full list of the types of information that may have been included in your profile here. What are you doing about this? We're working with third-party forensic experts. Where's the part where there's any kind of actual legal liability for any of this? That's what I don't understand. Like, Luke, I remember... sorry?
I'm not. Twitch died.
Oh, okay.
Not us, though.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's fine.
Yeah, we're still
fine. So, where's I going with this?
No legal ramifications.
Yeah, right. I remember talking about this when we started the forum. And I basically, anytime we were collecting any kind of personal information, like remember when we set up the ability for people to support the forum through memberships?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, do we have any payment information?
Let's make sure we're not storing credit cards.
And you were like, no, man, don't worry. I got this. And I'm like, okay, because I don't want anything. Name, email, that's already... the maximum amount of information that I need to store about someone. If they voluntarily fill out like their birthday or whatever, like that's on them. But I don't want to be in a position where we're holding on to anything like payment information or anything that could turn into a real world security threat. And part of that came from a place of being concerned about legal liability. But part of it just came from understanding that
the personal liability
breaches happen.
Yeah.
Well, not liability, because liability is like that's a legal
Maybe a
term.
legal term. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way.
But just personal responsibility.
There we go. Yeah.
I don't want to hold on to stuff that when inevitably it gets accessed, it's going to be a big problem for you.
Never wanted to like care that much.
And so what I am trying to understand is why something that was intuitive and common sense, not just to me, I'm not some unique big brain genius to come up with this. Luke felt exactly the same way about it.
And full transparency, a bunch of years back, the forum did have a breach.
Yeah.
We talked about it on a WAN show. We were super public about it. This was a long time ago. And it was like, luckily...
we don't hold anything.
Yeah.
And so why is it that something that's common sense to us is not common sense, both to the companies that are collecting and storing this information and to the lawmakers that keep seeing this in their headlines, presumably, and don't take any kind of action? Because at a certain point, you can't just go, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. There needs to be actual consequences.
Yeah. The other part that's weird to me is the claim of, while our investigation is ongoing, we believe the threat actor was able to access accounts in instances where the usernames and passwords that were used on 23andme.com were the same as those used on other websites.
I mean, that would be true at any time. That's not a breach.
Do they mean an admin account? Or how does this person have millions of accounts?
I'm not sure.
Why is it being reported the way that it's being reported? And like all this other stuff doesn't really work for me personally. I feel like there's more to this than they're admitting. Probably because they're trying to completely dodge any form of liability, like we're kind of talking about. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't seem to work for me.
I'm very frustrated. Oh man. Matt STL says Shadow had a data breach. I'm not a customer anymore and haven't been for some time, but they left my account live and stored financial data as well.
Stored financial data.
There needs to be look, it's not that I want an honest mistake to result in indetermination of every company that makes an honest mistake. You can't swing the pendulum too far the other way. But on the other hand, there have to be real consequences that make companies treat this stuff seriously, because it's clear that they're not going to do it on their own.
People are saying it was credential stuffing. but did they get the credentials of a higher level user? Or was there really just millions of accounts that had the same login and password?
Regular
user. Really?
Says, not sure if it helps, but I got an initial email from 23andMe, and I don't have an update like this. You might not have one yet, but also, yeah, maybe not every individual account was accessed then.
Maybe my understanding is just wrong. I thought it was like millions of accounts. Maybe it's not anywhere near that many.
Apparently Shadow got social engineered through Discord.
Oof. One account can have the info for many people shared to it. Oh. That makes a lot more sense.
Why would you be doing that?
I thought it was millions of accounts of a specific background. I heard a lot about a specific background as well, which is why I thought this. But now that we know it could be sharing, it could be one individual person that encouraged a very large community of people to do this for whatever reason and share the information with that central person or that group of central people, and maybe a multitude of them got broken into.
This is brutal. Okay. Well, at any rate.
Yeah, that's rough. That makes a lot more sense. I understand now. But yeah, yikes.
Google returns features following a Sonos fumble. Recap. Google and Sonos have been locked in a patent war for the last few years, which in early 2022 resulted in Google losing a case regarding controlling multiple speakers together in a group. Rather than pay Sonos a licensing fee, Google pushed software turning off that relevant feature on devices that users had already bought. I spoke out about this at the time, and my take on this was, Google, you actually may not just remove features from devices that you sold advertising those features. I am personally very frustrated by this Google Sonos tiff because it affects me personally. I invested in Sonos hardware knowingly because it had excellent integration with Google Play Music. And I described this on a recent WAN show or other recent video. I can't remember when, and some people seemed to kind of misunderstand what I meant. I know that you can still use YouTube Music with Sonos. The problem is you have to use Sonos's clunky, crappy app. And honestly, even the speaker grouping is clunkier in Sonos's app compared to the extremely elegant integration that was in Google Play Music. So I never touched the Sonos app. I just would come home and I would be listening to whatever I'm listening to in my headphones, and I would go into Google Play Music, and then I would just use the cast button, the normal cast button, and I would just click it, and then I could click a speaker, or I could click a few speakers and confirm. And I don't know if it supported like static groupings. I actually can't remember because I haven't seen the interface in years, but it was amazing because it was just continuous. And then when I was on my way out, I would actually be able to walk out the door and just flip it back to my headphones and be good to go. It was just continuous music, and it was so seamless, and it was awesome. And then Google deprecated Play Music, and then because of their patent tiff with Sonos, have never integrated that same functionality into YouTube Music. And it sucks. I know that Spotify has integration with Sonos. It is not as good. It is really clunky and inelegant by comparison. Gremlin Injector asks, but why did you trust Sonos? Don't you know better after their bricking debacle? I think Sonos learned an important lesson after the bricking debacle, which, if you paid close attention to it, you'll know never happened. Nothing is bricked. Everything still works, which is great. So yeah. I mean, anything smart can just disappear, which really sucks and is bad. But it seems like they actually learned something. Handyman says, LMAO what? Nothing compares to Spotify Connect. Do you know that? Did you use it? Okay, then. Cool.
I also have a counter.
Yeah.
Spotify Connect does not come with YouTube Premium.
Yeah. But also, I considered just switching over to Spotify just if it had really good integration, and it just didn't. I'm sorry, it didn't. It was not as good. It was not as clean. It was not as seamless. Google Play Music was really, really awesome with the integration with Sonos.
Come on, what do you mean? Come on. I'm going to subscribe to my thing on Spotify is if you watch a lot of YouTube, I don't think it's worth it, because if you watch a lot of YouTube Premium is actually fantastic, and it comes with YouTube Music, which is a not amazing app, but it still gets you basically all of your music. You can listen to it without ads. It gets you the 80% of Spotify. Maybe it doesn't get you 100%, but it gets you the 80% of Spotify, and it's not another subscription service you have to get. I don't know.
Anyway, as someone who had serious frustration with this situation, I basically went, look, Google, this is your product you sold and the feature no longer works, and that really sucks. I wish you guys would just pay the licensing fee. However, it seems like, according to the facts of the case, Google may have been right here. So last Friday, a judge decided that some of the patents in the case were invalid and threw out the decision on the grounds that 2 of the 5 patents were actually filed in 2019, and Sonos inappropriately tied them to its 2006 applications so that it would appear as though they predated Google's devices. Google's immediate response to this overruling was to push an update restoring some of the old features. That update was released on Tuesday, 2 business days after the decision. Google likewise released a blog post calling for patent reform. This is not the only recent setback for Sonos, who apparently have been trying and failing to address an infamous problem with their $900 Sonos Arc soundbars that causes the device to occasionally emit a loud bang, described by many users as similar to a gunshot.
Oh,
I've never heard this. I have an Arc. Maybe it's only certain revisions of the hardware. I don't know.
That's not great.
Sonos attributes the problem to an interoperability issue with Dolby Atmos and has advised users to turn it off and switch to Dolby 5.1. Complaints about the issue go back at least 2 years. Okay, in that case, I don't know. I have never experienced this with mine, but who knows? Maybe that time I thought that someone was firing a gun in my living room. It was actually my Arc. No, I'm kidding. I've never heard.
You never know.
Our discussion question here is a good one. When companies remove a substantial feature from a device or a service, should they be obligated to offer a refund? I think that's the least that they can do. I
feel like they should have to do something.
Or you know what? Speaking of patent reform, what about this? What if pending the results of the litigation, Google pays the licensing fees into an escrow account that is returned to Google with, interest or something like that from Sonos if they win, or goes to Sonos if ultimately they lose. But at the end of the day, this shouldn't be impacting the customer. That is definitely not the right way.
I agree.
I just want Google Play Music back so that I can cast to my speakers properly. Sorry.
It's okay.
I tried. I wanted to what is it called? DTS Connect or something like that? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. What's that other one called? SVS has a box streaming SVS Prime. Yeah, here it is. The SVS Prime. I really wanted to like this thing. On paper, it's awesome. It seems like a high quality amp, and the hardware seems great. It's AirPlay 2 compatible. I don't have an iPhone, but the way that it worked for me was through, I want to say, DTS Play-Fi. Yeah, this is their audio over Wi-Fi solution, and it's behind. Last time I used it, okay. Full disclosure, SVS would have given me a sick deal to outfit my house with those, such that it would have been, I don't know what exactly they were offering. I don't remember, but it definitely, what I know is from talking to Jake about it, it would have been cheaper than the used last gen Sonos boxes I bought.
Oh, wow.
And I would have had brand new Prime Wireless Pros. And I just said, forget it. And I just bought them. If I had fewer zones, I think from my experience with it, it was like fine, but I don't remember the exact details.
You have a lot of zones.
Yeah, I ran into some kind of an issue, and I basically went, okay, forget it. I can't really do this anymore.
By the way, SOP Canon in Floatplane chat says that they're having that pop issue that you were describing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
so apparently that is a thing.
Well, SOP Canon maybe should stop firing the cannon.
Stop pop cannon?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, I know.
Actually terrible. Next topic.
Yeah, Best Buy nixes physical media. Meanwhile, this is hilarious. Netflix is planning to open physical locations.
Wait, what? I didn't see that part. The Best Buy nixing physical media is interesting. When I used to work at the Best of Buys back in the day, it was like probably close to a quarter of the store. It was huge.
Got them CDs.
It was massive.
Pick up that Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, and you could tell over time
Alanis Morissette.
That section of the store was shrinking, and I guess now it's just shrinked to zero.
They will no longer sell DVDs or Blu-ray discs starting in 2024. This is only 5 years after they dropped selling music CDs. According to John Fairhurst, CEO of Limited Run Games, Walmart may also be dropping sales of physical games in the near future. And
Limited Run is awesome. Just a weird little shout out. I've gotten a few things from them. Everything I've gotten from them has been very good quality. Very cool group of people doing very cool things.
We've talked about this a fair bit. I think more recently when Australia was not going to get physical media or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some of the movie studios weren't going to do physical Blu-ray releases in Australia. The highest quality version of a movie may simply no longer be available to consumers very soon, like almost now. Starting in 2024, like you'll still probably be able to buy them online for quite some time, but this is kind of wild. I don't really have a ton to add here other than that there are still advantages to physical media and there are still problems with abandoning physical media, but that doesn't change the fact that this tide cannot be stopped now. It's very clear. Meanwhile, Netflix has announced that they will be opening 2 Netflix houses. And please tell me that this is a play on Columbia House. That they're going to call it Netflix House. Please tell me that. These Netflix houses will have merch, food, and fan experiences.
Fan experience location is what they're calling it.
Based on whatever happens to be the hotness on Netflix at the time. They have previously dabbled in pop-up retail stores and experimented with immersive experience based on the hit show Squid Game. Can I just say, this actually makes a ton of sense to me. I see there's a bit more skepticism in our discussion prompting here, but...
I thought it was like, go rent a physical copy. I was like, what are you doing?
Netflix land?
Yeah.
I mean, would you go to a Stranger Things themed, land inside a Netflix theme park?
I think some people would.
I mean, Netflix has a serious collection of first-party IP now.
I feel like I would go to what's that the game show one that everyone was freaking out about that Mr. Beast remade. You just said it, I think.
Yeah, Squid Game.
Yeah, I feel like I'd go to one of those. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, like you could totally have Squid Game experiences. So here we go. So Squid Game, Stranger Things, Wednesday. I don't know that they would necessarily own enough of Addams Family's IP rights to do anything with that, but who knows? Bridgerton, though. Bridgerton is huge. Stranger Things, which I already... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I already mentioned that. Lucifer. Yvonne really liked that one. Yeah, The Witcher, that's not their IP. But if they put some effort into it, I definitely see the opportunity in the long term for them to build out a theme park experience here. And I mean, Disney has certainly shown the way in terms of integrating theme parks into a successful media business. Oh boy. Yeah, people are talking about the Bridgerton. People have some ideas for what the Bridgerton zone might be like. Okay. This is not an adults-only park. Get your mind out of it.
I've never watched Bridgerton, but I've seen some ideas in chat. And okay, then.
Yeah, Bridgerton's pretty sweaty.
Got it.
Yeah.
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 In a different form.
Yep.
Not like tries really hard at video games.
No.
Kind of the opposite, I think.
Yeah, no, it's busy trying hard at other things. This is interesting. A California court has ruled that Facebook's ad targeting system is discriminatory, both because it requires advertisers to choose their ad audience by demographic characteristics like age and gender, and because Facebook's lookalike audience tool then matches those businesses with potential customers that have traits similar to their existing audience. This follows a court case where an older woman complained that she was being excluded from ads that offered favorable deals on life insurance because the ads were typically targeted at younger people and men. Isn't this interesting?
Why men?
This could change the landscape of targeted advertising. The case did find that her claim was accurate, but it's unclear why life insurance policies would specifically want to appeal to men over women. This is a note in our notes here. Now, younger people obviously they're less likely to die in the near future, but men are actually more likely to die younger than women of the same age.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, so
maybe more dudes are like, I'm pretty risky. I should get this.
I have absolutely no idea. Men are apparently more likely to buy them. 58% of American men own life insurance policies versus 47% of American women. But there could be any number of reasons for that.
That kind of makes sense to me.
Like if it's only marketed to men, then maybe only they buy it. I don't know. Meta is likely to appeal this decision, but if it's upheld, the decision might require every ad-based platform on the internet, at least the ones that operate in America, to restructure their ad targeting systems. I mean,
correct.
Is ad targeting just going away?
This will really affect Floatplane very heavily. We'll have to re-engineer
the
many things.
The $0 of advertising that we do every year. The free advertising that the parent company gives it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the 23-year-old coder who fixed a 22-year-old Firefox bug?
That's awesome. Sure. A 22-year-old bug in Firefox has finally been fixed by a 23-year-old engineering student who had never contributed to an open source project before. The bug causes tooltips to remain in the foreground if a user command tabs away from the browser before moving their mouse away from the toolbar. The tooltip would persist until the user put Firefox in the foreground again and moved the mouse off the toolbar. Wow, that sounds like a pretty minor bug, but I am 100% certain that would really, really annoy people with specific OCD. The issue was first reported in June 2002, and in fact, the bug predates Firefox itself and was inherited from the project it was branched off of. The issue was reported repeatedly over the course of 2 decades, but it was never resolved, likely because it was a minor cosmetic issue not causing crashes, thus low priority. After being repeatedly annoyed by the bug, 23-year-old Yifan Zhu, which I hope I pronounced correctly, but probably didn't.
You did a great job.
Horrified to realize how long it had gone unaddressed and decided to fix it, despite the lack of familiarity with the Firefox codebase. But otherwise, no one else was going to. And then they did, and it was successful as far as I can tell.
That's so cool. They did end up needing a little bit of help from a more experienced developer, but
that's one of the benefits
taking
of
initiative.
Open source.
Let's go, right?
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
What's not cool is the fact that I'm spoiling my children and turning them into little monsters.
What the?
There was a post earlier this week that was flagged by our community coordinator that reads like this. I'm astonished at how much gaming Linus gives to his kids nowadays. I know I am nobody to control him, but still, from their personal setups to the caravan gaming to server rack-mounted gaming and much more from the other video projects, isn't Linus giving too much luxury to his children? I mean, even with me, all the dedication that I have converted from the sadness and anger of not having tech luxury, at the most, I would only give my children a small game console in nursery, an Xbox or PS in first year, a light laptop in fourth, a mobile in sixth or earlier, and a gaming PC around some time, not 10 of the top-of-the-line RTX 4090 gaming PCs at age 5. Discuss. Okay, so hold on a second. Yes, it is very clear that my kids enjoy access to technology that is very different from what normal kids would have. They have pretty cool gaming PCs at the ages that they are.
But they're pretty time limited, and you make them do things. They have like goals that they have to accomplish before they can unlock certain amounts of gaming time.
But don't overestimate how much they are actually allowed to use them.
Yeah.
As a tech savvy parent, I may have the capability and the means to fill my house with technology. I was counting them, and I think in my house there's no fewer than somewhere between 15 and 20 computers.
I wonder how many screens.
Fewer than you might think?
A lot of them are surprisingly single monitor setups, but still TVs.
Okay, there's a fair number of screens. Yeah, there's a fair number of screens. There's a bunch of laptops, but those are redundant right now because the laptops that used to run the LAN center are just kind of in a pile.
Right.
Because we still need to do a video, like cleaning it up. And so I haven't cleaned it up on my own time because I want to make a video about it. Anyway,
yeah.
The point is, see, people ask, like, what's your power bill? I mean, they're not on all the time, right? Like, so yes, I have the means and the capability to fill my place with computers, but that doesn't mean that but that also means I have the capability to restrict.
Yeah, they don't just have free range to
access to the computers. I make extensive use of parental controls like Google's Family Link and Microsoft's whatever Family Safety. I forget what it's called. They're not allowed to install apps without permission. They're not allowed to use the computers without permission. They have to trade at a ratio of, I think, 1 to 1.5. Piano practice or dance or other like activity practice or chores in order to get gaming time. There are exceptions. When we do like family gaming time, they don't have to do anything for that, but you know, that's not something that happens every night.
And that's a rule that a lot of people have. Like I know one of them too is like if there's a type of game, like an example we had when we were growing up very often was like shooter games. A lot of people didn't want their kids playing shooter games below a certain age. But it was fairly common, I would find, with like my friends where they would be like, yeah, I can't play shooter games by myself, but I can play like co-op Halo with my dad. Because like as long as they're playing together, they were like, okay, this is fine. So yeah, I don't know. Family time's always been different.
With that said, it's a valid concern and it's one we think about a lot. Thank you for raising it, and it's definitely something that we're cognizant of, and you know, it's tough, right? Because on the one hand, we don't want them to be spoiled little brats, right? Like that's I don't think that's anything. I don't think that's something anyone wants from their kids. I think it's something that happens by accident.
I'm sure there's someone.
At least, yeah. I was going to say 90% of the time, I would say that spoiled, awful kids probably happen by accident. But that doesn't mean that you can be complacent about it. That means that, if anything, you need to be more vigilant about it. So don't worry. We are on it. We are doing our best. And no, don't assume that just because they have a lot of options for devices that they can use, that necessarily means that they can just go on them whenever they want. There are some exceptions. I actually created a document a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty proud of this little bit of parenting. The document is called I'm Bored. And the reason it exists is because I wanted to have something to point my kids to every single time they walk up to me and say,
"That's smart.
I'm bored." And so this is the I'm Bored document.
Do you want me to read?
Yeah, sure. You can read it.
Okay, so he's got locations. So I am asked, I'm bored, and I am at location X. These are the things that I can say. So everywhere includes hide and seek, tag, listen to music or dance, educational activities on phone or computer, camera play, take pictures to record videos of each other, do whatever, film little videos, do whatever. Forts, building tents out of tubes or crazy forts, other things. I used to build them out of the dining room chairs when I was a kid. Reading, Comic book corner, swing outside on the porch, bedroom, cats, just play with the cats in general. Okay, we're upstairs. Here's this insanely long list of toys. All right, we're on the main floor. Arts and crafts, hang out with different people, play piano, yoga, and exercise. Okay, we're in the basement. All these other things. Oh my God, this is really long.
There is so much to do in our house.
This is very long. And it takes multiple scrolling swipes to get through it.
And for that reason, I don't want them playing video games all the time because they could play dress up, or they could have a tea party, or they could practice magic tricks. There are some video games that don't need permission. If they play Beat Saber, or
makes sense to
Dance
me.
Dash, or Box VR.
All of those make sense
or anything that is like a high exertion video game, that's allowed. They're allowed to play Ring Fit Adventure without permission.
That also makes sense to me.
As long as they have it set to a reasonable difficulty, so they're not just breezing through it.
Yep.
Other than that, they're allowed to play games that we consider educational. So I would say for my youngest, for example, something like Wordscapes is considered educational. I would say that gets a little less educational later on. But, you know, if they...
Up to a certain age.
Yeah, if they're using Duolingo or something like that,
level.
I would consider that to be educational. So using Family Link, you can apply different limits to apps on a per day basis. Or you can apply limits system-wide or to specific apps. So you could have 45 minutes of total screen time in a day, but an unlimited amount of this during that time, and only 5 minutes of this during that time, and a completely unlimited amount of Kindle, for example, is an app that is completely unlocked on the kids that have phones and other devices. We also have a Kindle that they can just use. Because I'm of the mind that I don't care what they read as long as they read. Make of that what you will. It means that every time I go on my Kindle Unlimited account, I can't find anything in the sea of stupid Minecraft books or whatever, but that's a small price to pay.
Oh my goodness. Are we doing topics still? Okay. I'll just blow through this one. I genuinely think this will be short, but it was in the call-out topic, so it is what it is. GitHub Copilot might be running at a loss. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, GitHub Copilot, which costs users $10 a month, was losing Microsoft over $20 per month per user in the first few months of this year, with some heavy users costing Microsoft up to $80 a month. Microsoft has not responded to the claim that GitHub was running at a loss, but Nat Friedman, who was CEO of GitHub when Copilot was launched in October of 2021, called the claim false. However, Friedman left the company in November of 2021 and has not provided any additional details, with the Wall Street Journal standing behind their original reporting. At the beginning of this year, ChatGPT was estimated to cost OpenAI $700,000 a day to run at 36 cents a query.
Now, here, can I just jump in for a second? How does that account for the hardware? Because OpenAI would probably roll their own hardware. So is that just in power?
I'm honestly not sure.
Or is that with amortized hardware cost across it too?
I'm assuming that, but I'm not sure.
Anyway.
It's well known that most LLMs are resource hogs. Analysts have projected that unless these AI systems become much cheaper and more efficient, we might see a significant dampening in investor euphoria over AI due to the heavy costs associated with deployment and uncertainty around profit models. Yeah, so this is what we talked about yesterday, and whether or not the GitHub Copilot thing is necessarily true, something that I still stand behind is the access to Bing Chat and now Windows Copilot being completely free is wild.
That's mind-blowing to me. Oh, by the way, apparently OpenAI is using Azure. That makes sense, right, because of the Microsoft investment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
The chat's going on. Woo, AI crashing.
Yeah.
Not yet. It takes a bit more time for the Silicon Valley investor bros to chill out.
This is part of the reason, though, why innovation has been what I would personally call stifled to a certain degree, is because access to this type of hardware has become so financially competitive that a lot of not VC-backed interested parties are having extremely hard times breaking into the space. They can't get the hardware power to be able to back it up. There's even like OVH emailed me this week and was like, by the way, we got GPU servers now. Heard you do video. You want some GPU servers? And I was like, no. Because I know what the pricing's going to be on them.
Yeah.
If this was a few years ago, I might have been like, maybe we'll take one to experiment with. But now it's like, no, these are effectively AI servers. Or AI research servers, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, not interested.
Twitch chat asks, what the heck are you eating?
Doritos.
Gamer fuel.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we still owe you guys a GPU server, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll personally build it.
I'm not that worried about it.
Okay, but you could do something with it?
We could play around with it.
Would it be cool?
It could be. I don't know if we would actually hit production, though.
Would it transcode the WAN show VOD faster?
Yeah, I don't want to have to spend Saturdays dealing with this anymore.
But like, well, there was 2 unique issues in a row. I don't think you'll be spending this Saturday dealing with it.
Bet.
Did you say bet?
No, I think it'll be fine. Yeah, it seemed to be quite unique.
No, did you just unironically say bet?
No, I said it ironically.
Okay.
Like definitely.
All right, cool.
Definitely ironically.
I was like, who are you?
If you thought that I had said that unironically, we would have a problem and we would actually have to have a serious conversation.
This is great. I just get to sit on the sidelines while things get spicy here. Sorry. Is that like a rude thing to say or something? Or like,
bet?
Yeah. What?
No, it's just not. He would just never say it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I love doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
It's like if like your dad unironically said yeet. Like it would just be like, what? You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. Anyways, you just attacked my Gen Z self? No, I did. The problem is that he's not Gen Z. That's why I was so confused.
Yeah, but I'm terminally online, but I use it all like absolutely ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it starts.
I know, it's actually become a problem.
It's a real problem.
I start saying things and then I can't stop.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that, and if I find a new thing that I'm like, haha, this is funny to say, I will avoid it. Otherwise, it'll become part of my lexicon.
Vernacular.
Lexicon?
No, I think you're right.
Which is it?
Aren't they both right?
Probably. Told you, he's got me into it now.
It's kind of great.
It's kind of great.
Yeah.
It's wholesome.
I like, what is it called? Meta modern, where we've moved past like the everything is cringe and being sincere is gross. And now everything's just like, yeah, I like this thing. And everybody's like, yeah, awesome.
It's so rare to find positivity in the world that it's like, wait a second.
That's the new era. It's like post cringe. Now it's just,
you know
like
what? I'm
being
so
wholesome.
down with that because we talked about this earlier in the show, everything being black, white, and gray, right?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. It's like, no, you can't stand out and be interesting. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Speaking of black, white, and gray, Travero, we should probably switch to Floatplane After Dark. WAN Show After Dark.
Sorry, Twitch, I got to cut you off.
No, yeah, bye, YouTube.
I think Floatplane After Dark would be significantly different content.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, we can upload anything there. Travero in Floatplane chat asks, what did you think of the Bill Watterson book? I have only cracked open the first couple of pages.
What Bill Watterson book?
Bill Watterson. He released a book. I pre-ordered it.
The Mysteries?
Immediately, yeah. So it was done in collaboration with John Cashed. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't know who he is, but he's a caricaturist, apparently. That's what I was listening to an interview about it before the show started.
That's what you're listening to. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got sort of sidetracked by. Mine arrived.
Horror.
Was it last week or early this week or something like that? I I've briefly looked at the first 2 pages, but I'm not going to do this in multiple sittings. I'm going to read it through because doesn't appear to be a lot of text. It's like a modern fable or something like. I can't remember exactly what it is. It is definitely.
It's on Amazon. It's under horror manga.
From what I've seen, it is nothing like anything he has done before.
No, it's not very highly rated either.
And I am having a hard time so far from the handful of pages that I have glanced through understanding what it is and why. And you know what? Realistically, I don't care. I broke the no pre-ordering rule because Bill Watterson, through Calvin and Hobbes, has given me so much joy in my life that I could probably never repay him for it. So as far as I was concerned, it was just...
Here, take my money.
Yeah, here, take my money, because I actually don't give a shit how good or bad this is. But it does seem to be just kind of random. I haven't actually looked at ratings because I wanted to just keep my impressions of it completely pure, so I'm not going to be looking at chat about it. But yeah, it's a new Bill Watterson book, The Mysteries, and it has this kind of unique art style. And I guess I'm really not much of an artist. I was more expecting the writing to say something to me and less sort of concerned about the pictures. Yeah, that
can
Bill
I
Watterson.
show individual frames of it, including some writing?
It's on Amazon.
It's on the Amazon page.
If it's on the Amazon page, I'm pretty sure it's fair game.
Okay, if you're freaked out about anything, whatever, there you go. So there's like tiny little bit of text. Long ago, the forest was dark and deep, paired with picture, and then tiny little bit of text. So the knight set off into the misty forest. Year after year, they searched, and then picture. Does that match your experience?
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. It doesn't matter if it's good. I mean, it might be good. It might be like good art or something, like and then maybe quality, I don't get it.
But just not your kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad or whatever.
It's filed under horror manga. If I was walking through a bookstore and I saw that as a category section, I would not be pausing. I'm just not interested in the slightest.
Yeah, me neither.
I see also under frequently bought together on Amazon, there's this book and then the Calvin and Hobbes portable compendium set. And those are very different things. And I think a lot of people that are coming to this for Bill Watterson and Bill Watterson's Calvin and Hobbes contributions might be a little reacting the way you are, being like, what even is this?
Yep.
But then maybe people that are into horror manga, whatever that is, are super into it. Maybe. I don't know. This has low ratings, but when I look through the ratings, I think it's people that were like, I liked Calvin and Hobbes. What is this?
I think you only get one of these as an author or as an artist. I think you do get a mulligan or like something that doesn't appeal to your fan base once, maybe twice. But I think if he wants to like make a return to being one of the most beloved artists of this generation, the next one should, without being fan service, probably appeal to the fan base a little bit. I'm not going to tell him how to do his thing because obviously man doesn't give a fuck. Like, and you got to respect that. So again, like it's back to sort of like, I don't actually care because I respect the attitude and I respect the previous work to the point where, what, $25 or whatever? Okay, just take it. Fine. It doesn't matter to me because he would never merchandise the IP. So I can't buy my kids a Hobbes stuffy, which I would happily do. So, all right, if this is the only way I can give you money, then I guess fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me this. would it be wrong for me to leverage my supplier relationships with stuffy manufacturers to make a one-off Hobbs stuffy? I think as long as you make something for yourself and not for commercial use, it's covered by fair use. Is that wrong, knowing what I know about him not wanting...
Why does he not want that?
Because he thinks it cheapens the art. Also, I think there's a whole philosophical thing about, if he ever did a stuffed Hobbs, then it would answer the question once and for all whether Hobbs is real or whether he's imagined. But it's pretty obvious he's imagined.
Yeah.
But that's something he has never actually canonically addressed.
Well, it wouldn't be made by him, so I don't think you'd be ruining that question.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be selling it. I wouldn't be commercializing it. But if I had a one-off manufactured Hobbs for my kid or something like that, is that wrong? Tell me, guys. Oh man, people are all over this. Yes.
I feel like if you made it yourself, I feel like the vast majority of people would be cool with it. I feel like getting it manufactured by someone else is going to result in a significant amount of people saying no.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the line, personally.
People are saying I bet they exist on Etsy. I'd actually be surprised. Let's see. Oh. Yep. Definitely a thing. XL stuffed tiger. Ugh. Yeah. What is this? Oh.
What?
Oh man, these are terrible. No wonder he didn't want anybody making them. All right. Well, I guess we won't bother with that. I don't know. I was just curious. People are saying, I think if you made it yourself, it'd be much safer. I mean, I'm not actually worried about getting in any sort of legal trouble. The damages that could be claimed from me making one unit and keeping it for myself are literally zero. I wanted to just have a conversation here. Like, where's the line? Obviously you couldn't just commercially produce Calvin and Hobbes plushies without his express permission, which is why his publishers probably like... This sucks. Could have made so much money. At Calvin and Hobbes' peak, man, every kid would have wanted a Tickle Me Hobbes or whatever for Christmas or whatever it is. Yeah. But then, maybe that's part of why it's had this kind of lasting appeal it does only exist in the comics. And it wasn't cheapened in that way.
It wasn't Star Wars
commercialized. Yeah. I mean, I'm so tired of Star Wars, but
yeah, me too.
If there was any other Calvin and Hobbes, I'd be all over it, right? Like, I'll always leave them wanting more, right? First rule of show business.
And we went to the new Star Wars ones at the beginning. Did we see all three of them? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
We definitely saw the last one of the sequel trilogy together.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw the first one together.
Mm. Oh yeah, I went with my family.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we
that
saw
was what a I never even thought about this before. What a sign of failure. The first new Star Wars coming out for me, my entire family, who were all cheap like I am, my entire family went out to the deluxe theater that has the really comfy chairs. Everyone even just you could tell everyone even dressed up relatively nicely.
Yeah.
We were ready to experience Star Wars again. And we never did that for any of the following releases.
Yikes.
And I don't think anyone even talked about it. I've never even really thought about that since then. But I don't think it was ever brought up again as even an idea. So there was that.
Garon Ninja in Floatplane chat says, I have refused to watch episode 9. I value the price of a ticket more. Oof. Yeah. You don't even have to buy the popcorn, and you still valued the ticket price more. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, After Dark?
Yeah, Dan, you want to hit me with some merch messages?
Yeah, sure. We got quite a few today. Also, a bunch of potentials, if you guys want to go through those while I read these out to you. We'll start one with Luke, I guess. I was once in my life tight on money, and now I often feel guilty for buying expensive components despite being able to afford them. What's a tech product you bought that made you feel guilty?
Not very many. Because I feel like I think it out pretty thoroughly before I buy stuff. Even stuff like the Nia, I didn't feel guilty because I found it fascinating. And I actually got a lot of use out of it, just like trying to figure out how exactly it worked and trying to figure out all its quirks and stuff like that. I find a lot of value in... Yeah, that one. I find a lot of value in... Did you know I was going to say that? You already looked it up?
No, I did this after.
Okay.
This is me playing Pong with my brain using the Nia, the thing that Luke just referred to, the neural impulse actuator.
Yeah. Yeah, you got pretty good. That was like, it actually took a lot of concentration to do that. It was funny too because
I just have a powerful brain. What can I say?
I used to try to play COD with it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one, had released around the same time, and I bound a few different inputs to the Nia, and I got okay. I could have a positive KD, but I was like quite good at that game at the time, so that was not a lot. But I was not losing to other players while controlling firing and aim down sight with the Nia. So I moved with the keyboard with my hand, and I looked with the mouse, and I would fire an ADS with my brain. But it was hilarious because like someone would come up to my desk to talk to me, and I would like look at them and start talking, and my character was just like aim, shoot. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of any major. I'm sure some exist. I can't really think of it though.
Okay.
Yeah, most tech products that I've bought have not broken. I've had very good success with that. I've used them pretty thoroughly, and even when they weren't necessarily that great, I usually predicted that might be a possible outcome and was more interested in playing with it in its not necessarily perfect state, because I thought that would be interesting. Hence, early versions of Oculus Rift headsets, stuff like that. But yeah, sorry.
Got one here that might be interesting to both of you. Hi, LLD. I am doing some necessary work from home, hourly employee, and track my own hours, and I'm a college student. I'm incredibly efficient. Do I track my actual time, or roughly how long it would take others to do?
Your actual time? Because like you're not, if you're paid piecework, then you would track it by the project. But if you're paid hourly, then you're paid hourly, right? I mean, it all kind of depends on what your employment contract is, right? I mean, if you're incredibly efficient, then I would suggest that a cool way to parlay that into more money would be to get a lot done and then ask for a promotion. And then if they don't give you a promotion, then I would take that incredible efficiency and take that to a competitor and interview there and talk about how incredibly efficient you are and how you probably deserve more compensation or a higher position than what you have now. With that said, if you're a student and something like, and you're not ready to kind of start climbing the corporate ladder, that may not be feasible for you, but it would all just kind of depend on what your employment agreement looks like and what your liability could look like if you're found to be fraudulently reporting your hours or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Is there anything else to kind of add to that?
That seemed pretty good.
What other types of leather were you looking at? Why did you go with apple leather specifically? Also, excellent choice on interior color. Orange is great, but I love this blue teal color. More, please.
What made us decide on apple leather was just how good it was. We tried pineapple leather, mushroom leather, a couple different types of apple leather, and we just felt that this was the closest to the real leather experience without actually making it out of real leather, which is much higher in terms of cost and also much more difficult to work with, which affects cost. So we just love the material. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, I really like the teal too.
Question mostly for Luke. What happened to the IA race? Went from new things every week to mostly implementations of
AI.
I guess so. AI race went from new things every week to mostly implementations of what is already there?
We were vaguely talking about this earlier in the show, but costs are astronomically high. And also, I think we just ran into the realities. Okay, there's two things, I guess. One of them is just the realities of actually shipping an actual real product being really hard. And then also the hallucination problem is a big issue for shipping a product to a wider percentage of users. I don't know if you remember, but early on in the whole AI thing, the amount of debates we'd have to get into with our own audience talking about how early versions of ChatGPT couldn't access the internet because it would just convince them it was accessing the internet, and they were so sure that it was actually happening. You'd see people on Reddit with massively upvoted threads being like, I tricked it to get it to allow me to do searches with it through the internet. No, it tricked you into thinking that it did that successfully. So those hallucinations are an issue for wide market adoption. And we've been, not we, as if I'm involved, but the industry's been stuck on those things for this whole time. Shipping products is hard. Solving hallucinations is hard. Costs are very high. That's it.
Hi, Linus and company. I have just one question. Have you had any problems growing pains with the $1,000 JBOD cabinet?
No. I mean, we're also not using it if you're referring to the thing that I think you're referring to, which is that NetApp appliance that we picked up during the liquidation of that company that was switching to work from home. Like we fired it up just to kind of show you guys what that kind of equipment looks like, and how it works, and talk about why some people use it. But it's worth far more. Like the value of it was in the drive sleds for those JBOD boxes, rather than, and in like replacement power supplies and stuff, rather than as an actual functioning unit, because the power costs of running it were so high compared to the actual storage capacity and performance. I mean, you could have like a handful of SSDs these days running in, an Intel Atom box, and it would probably perform better while consuming a tiny fraction of the amount of power. Like, it made no sense to actually run the thing. But I know that at least one employee bought one of the drive shelves and took it home without me really knowing that we had made those kinds of deals and that we were getting rid of them.
You can have it back if you want.
No, it's fine. The density is pretty low for our deployments these days. I just didn't know. And the only reason that I found out was because another employee was sniffing around in the warehouse trying to steal one and was like, hey, where'd one of those go? So we
can share.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, and maybe if that NAS software investment that I made ever pans out, we can have backup targets to each other, so we have geo-replication. It'll be great.
That'll be fun.
I know, right?
I just wanted something to play with, and it was the right price. But I mean, if you want to do stuff with it, you're welcome.
For real, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that logistics apparently just makes decisions about what stuff we're selling to staff now.
I better ask people next time I want something, because I assume that that's all kosher.
I've poked them about it, but I'm hoping to be able to snipe at some point in time some of those wood accented parts.
You're probably not the only one.
I know.
You got to be nice to them, or be an ex-manager. You got to know how to talk to him, Luke.
Okay, that's not how that's supposed to work, but yeah. Okay. Anywho, what were we talking about again? So I haven't done anything
for the record. That is a joke.
Yeah, we have parts that we will probably use for stoofs, or staff will play with them. I'm not sure.
Stoofs?
Stuff.
Okay.
Up next, would Linus consider oil to be sufficiently waterproof?
No. I mean, no, actually, because a small amount of even a non-water soluble material or non whatever, or you can use an emulsifying agent. No, nothing is waterproof. Eventually, water conquers all.
Yeah.
Hi, DLL. recently NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission came back from an asteroid with samples. Yeah. A lot of these asteroids have a ton of precious minerals used in computers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on space mining?
Oh, it's totally going to be a thing. I think we're far from it being like an actual thing that is actually happening, but it will totally be a thing eventually. We need things to be like significantly more reusable, significantly more efficient, but those things are trending upwards at a surprising rate. It's happening, and it's going to be a thing because, yeah, some of those asteroids are very rich in minerals. I don't even know if it'll happen.
Giant one that's like made of gold or something.
Platinum. There's like, there's a lot of money flying around in space. I don't know if it's going to be like a common or reasonable thing even in my lifespan, but it will definitely be a thing at some point. I am 100% certain.
Luke, how do you feel about the upcoming extraction shooter Vanguard from EVE Online developer CCP Games? Interested in merch for a trip to Norway as well.
Interested in merch for a trip to Norway? What?
I think that's just he's excited for merch.
Oh, he's buying merch, probably warm stuff because he's going to Norway. Okay,
sorry.
Cool.
Yes,
I'm assuming. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. But to be completely honest, a lot of what I like about Tarkov is not the fact that it's an extraction shooter. It's a lot of the intricacies of how the game works. That being said, I really like the EVE universe. My biggest problem with EVE is just how dated the game is. I was really excited for the last FPS that the EVE developers worked on, but it ended up being like a PlayStation exclusive, which was the weirdest and also worst move I think I've seen a company make regarding exclusives like potentially ever, because their entire fan base of customers were PC gamers specifically, and then they released a PlayStation only FPS game, which is just like, what are you doing? So if they can avoid that really, really, really weird decision this time, maybe it'll be good. I really hope, I don't know, I have done no research on this. I hope it's like legitimately grounded in the EVE universe, just like the way the previous one was, so it interacts with the EVE Online universe. I think that would be super sick. But honestly, if it's not, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, okay, no, it does. Oh, see, that's so cool to me. Members of the Vanguard will fuel the war machine of New Eden. New Eden is that's where EVE is, in new ways, adding corruption to the front lines, delivering vital resources to the EVE economy, and completing contracts that turn the tide of battle. Serve the Vanguard or serve those who seek an advantage in the raging wars of EVE Online. That's really cool. I really like the idea that they've clearly had for a very long time of tying a on-the-ground FPS game and the strategy coordination of EVE Online together. That concept has been fascinating and awesome to me since the original time that they announced it. They fubbed the first one. If this one hits, that would be great, and I will absolutely give it a shot in hopefully December 2023. Yeah.
Hey, LLD, was wondering if there's any MAC address, game linked, and even Floatplane merch in the works, specifically some color block hoodies. Thanks.
We're probably not going to do more color block hoodies, but we do have a really interesting MAC address piece of merch that we've been working on. You know that iconic Steve Jobs black, not really a turtleneck sort of thing?
I would wear that.
That's pretty sick, actually.
We've had a lot of trouble with the collar. So it may be that it takes a long time or it never sees the light of day or whatever else, but it like has a seam down the middle and it's got like this kind of cool neck and it's long black sleeves. That's something that we thought would be kind of cool for MAC address. For the others, I don't think we have anything planned at the moment though.
Hey, DLL, my dad mocked me for buying an LTT screwdriver, but after assembling furniture with him, he asked me to get him two. What's your favorite purchase that someone told you was dumb?
I've probably got a lot of those. I've had a ton, sorry, that probably sounded weird.
My phone fell.
I tried to catch it, but then I saw he was going for it too, and I didn't want to cause a collision, so I paused. Oh.
I don't believe it.
I just got a message from Nick Light.
I know, I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. You heard that, Nick.
Man, what were we even
Get
talking
me in trouble,
about?
Dan.
Oh, yeah. There was a ton of people in my life that told me the mineral oil computer was stupid for a lot of reasons. And you could argue that it was, but not only did it 100% pay for itself many times over through scholarships and grants and stuff like that, but also it's how I made like all of my friends in university. It's how I got this job. It's like the reason for a ton of things. It helped me learn way more about computers. It helped me learn tons of different things. So I strongly disagree.
I mean, it's still stupid.
I mean, technically on paper, it literally wasn't.
Yeah, but like,
you can say whatever you want.
What's my favorite purchase someone told me was dumb? I mean, people tell me I'm dumb all the time. I wouldn't even say it's my favorite purchase though. Like it's fun, but it's not.
Out of the category of things that people said were dumb, I think is how the question.
Yeah, but like I have my life is full of things that people told me were dumb. I mean, that super checks. I bought a table.
Probably the building. I'm sure somebody said it.
I bought a tabletop game for $4,000. It plays only one game. I use it once a week. I could literally spend like half my life in an arcade for like a year and not probably manage to spend that kind of money. I could just play that game all day if I really wanted to. But I really wanted a super checks, and I put it in the employee lounge.
It was a company purchase, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's why it lives here instead of at my house.
For the lounge, yeah.
Man, favorite. See, man, it's so easy to think of things people told me were stupid. Having a pool is stupid. Everyone told me it was stupid. The gold Xbox controller is stupid. Yeah, the chat's getting into it now. First lab building. Yeah, lots of people told me that was stupid. It's definitely not my favorite thing. I don't know. What's my favorite thing? It
would be your favorite out of the ones that were said to be stupid.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of like a favorite thing right now, to be honest with you. I don't really know.
That my whole point is it literally does not have to be your favorite thing. It's your favorite out of those.
I know, but
which could mean it's something that you don't even like very much.
Oh, I mean, I guess so. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Natipian, Lucky the Dragon. That was really dumb.
That was stupid.
And I love it a lot.
That was really dumb.
I actually love Lucky. Yeah. That was so stupid.
I straight up thought it was a joke when you first did it. And then it never left. And I was like, what?
Yeah, he's just like at the lab now, right?
I know.
Yeah, he just lives there.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Yeah. I'm not even like an MSI fan.
I know.
But look at him. He's number one. Yeah, Lucky the Dragon.
Man. All right, sounds good.
I work as an internet technician in Michigan, and we do cable and fiber and max out at gig. How does the internet work up in Canada? Fiber, DSL, cable? It seems like you guys have a lot faster maximum speed.
Then where, sorry?
Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. If you want to look up how the ISPs in your country scammed your entire country, and I don't understand why people aren't more angry about it all the time, have a fun time going down that rabbit hole.
Tell us.
Billions of dollars put into fiber networks that were never built because they just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, TELUS has put a ton of investment into faster fiber to the home here over the last 10 years or so.
Oh, yeah.
Up until then, it was trash.
It was really bad.
It was really bad here.
And it's honestly still pretty bad.
It's getting a lot better, man.
My last experience with this is from years ago. So saying it's still bad is not fair. But the last time I looked into it, it was still very bad with Shaw. They'll tell you you're getting fiber, but it's fiber to the node.
Yeah.
And then copper to the house, which is not fiber.
Yeah. I mean, everything's fiber if you really want to be like that about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fiber somewhere.
Yeah, at some point, I don't know. So like,
no, TELUS does fiber to the home in our area in Western Canada, and it's ripping fast. It's reasonably attainable in terms of price.
Very reliable.
Very reliable.
Like kind of astonishingly reliable.
Yeah.
To the point where like if my internet ever goes out, I assume it's my problem.
Yeah, whereas that was the opposite years ago.
Yeah. Internet goes out, you just instantly call them because you're like, well, they screwed something up. And now it's, not that way at all. Yeah.
IDLL Vampire here. Wanted your thoughts on AR in enterprise. I mainly push it for virtualization and rapid prototyping by placing 3D models, but the main cell is hands-free screen a la Google Glass.
Man, I don't know. I think we're a ways away from that. But then I haven't seen the Apple Vision Pro yet. It's possible that Vision Pro is going to totally change my perspective on this, and I'm going to go, oh, wow, yeah, no, virtual displays is totally a thing, and let's go immediately. I'm looking forward to trying it, I guess is all I can really say about that.
Yeah.
How's the wear and tear using the vegan leather on the Luxe Backpack? Is Linus willing to show us the bottom of his prototype bag?
Yeah.
Looks pretty good to me.
I mean, here, you can get a look at it.
Yeah. I don't see any imperfections. I'm not a leather person.
Very few people are leather people. Here we go. Get you guys the best possible look at it. I have been floored by the resiliency of this material. Now, full disclosure, I hang my backpack at home, so I don't leave it on the floor at home, but I do chuck it in my trunk every day, and I do chuck it on the floor at work
every day. Yeah.
Every day, and this is the hanger that I hang this weight by every day, and it's like perfect. Check out the hanger.
Oh yeah.
There's no like crease though.
Yeah. Well, I was doing this because I was like, I'm expecting I'm gonna feel something, but there's nothing, and it also there's no noticeable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm so happy with this material.
Hey LLD, love the content. Linus, how do you feel about Samsung selling the Fold's phone with known factory defects, then refusing to repair them without people sending their phone in with no timeline?
Well, if that's happening, that sucks. This is the first time hearing of it, though.
Hi, LLD. I work at a small prototype machine shop that currently tracks everything on paper because we haven't found a software that allows different processes for each item. Any suggestions or leads?
Honestly, you're treading into the territory of needing to make your own.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, yeah, we're using Snipe.
You track it on paper? Is this something you could just use like Google Sheets for?
I don't know. I mean, Google Sheets is pretty powerful.
And if it's able to be done on paper.
Oh yeah, anything you can do on paper, you can do in Excel.
Still to do in Sheets, yeah, exactly.
Or Sheets,
right?
yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I feel like I would try Sheets. I think outside of that, you're going to get into the realm of needing to make it yourself. But you can do quite a bit with Sheets, and like Dan just said, if you're able to do it on paper, it should translate pretty well.
Yeah, paper's limitation works perfectly for anything like that.
Yeah.
Hey, LLD, heard you talk about YouTubed mobile ad space changes. I noticed today that my mobile ads were plainly labeled sponsored. As a creator, what are your thoughts on YouTube changing the phrasing?
Mobile ads are very plainly labeled sponsored. As a creator. I mean, yeah, obvious labeling of sponsored content is good. I mean, sure, as a creator, maybe I could make more if it was not clearly labeled, but we have always strived to clearly disclose sponsored content, and I am fully supportive of that.
I find it hard holding the 40-ounce bottle in the car, not wide enough cup holders. I was wondering if you had any suggestions to perch or latch the bottle inside of holding it up in my lap. Instead of holding it in my lap like a noob.
This is for Luke. I don't use the 40-ounce day to day. 40-ounce bottle. What to do with it in the car? No cup holders.
Isn't this?
Or wait.
I think that's a 20.
Wait, sorry, the 60, the 40 ounce.
The 40 ounce is the middle one, I think.
No, I have no, shoot. I curated this because I thought we were talking about the 64. I totally spaced on it. And we have a new, sleeve coming that has a thing that maybe you could hang off of something. For the 40, no, I have nothing. That's one of the reasons that I daily the 21 ounce or 22 or whatever this is, because it fits in my cup holders.
There are some 3D printable cup holder adapters I've seen online, because I daily the 40. And it fits in nothing.
That's cool.
But
yeah. I most of the time, if I'm driving to work. So I'll have my lunch bag and my 64-ounce water bottle. And I just put my lunch bag on the right side of my passenger seat. And I put the 64-ounce water bottle on the left side of my passenger seat. And it never moves. It just sits right there. Because the lunch bag is there to keep it in spot. So it's never been a problem for me. I have no illusions of a 64-ounce fitting in a cup holder.
That would actually be hilarious, but I'm pretty sure there's a 3D printer adapter for that.
Someone will find a way.
The nice thing about our bottles being popular is that you can search LTT water bottle on Thingiverse or whatever the new ones are, and they'll pop up with lots of interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm out of curated. We got some potentials and some incoming left.
Yeah, I wanted to mention from one of the potentials. For Benjamin's, can you just forward this to the Creator Warehouse team? Benjamin asks, is there a reason why the internal magnet polarity for the stubby is different compared to the full-size driver? The magnetic bit sticks to the full-size driver's internal magnet and is repelled by the stubbies, which doesn't prevent you from installing it, like the ones that came with them or whatever, I believe. But can you just find out if that was intentional or if it's just random or what the dealio is with that place?
Hey guys, supposed to be running a concert right now, but instead I'm shopping for some quality cable ties. Just picked up an old Steam Link from a pawn shop today. What do you guys think of them?
Oh, Steam Link was so cool. What a neat concept that I was not sad enough when Valve discontinued it. For those of you who don't remember, the Steam Link is a little thin client that's intended to be a streaming box that connects to your Steam gaming PC and allows you to play games from your PC anywhere else on the same local network. So you would hook it up to your TV and then either via Wi-Fi or ideally over Ethernet, you would stream games that your GPU encodes and you would play them on your TV with a controller that is connected through the Steam Link. So cool. Such an inexpensive, elegant solution. And honestly, something that just hasn't really been replaced. Commodity Android boxes are full of malware and danger, and building a full PC for that is power inefficient and costly. They were super cool, and I kind of wish I still had mine.
Sorry, I was typing a message. We got any more curated? Yeah, we do. Luke, if Floatplane sank initially, do you think you would still work at LMG?
I don't know if he would have let me.
How do I say this nicely? I love Luke.
I will say a lot of the things that we fought about back then ended up being right about, so get wrecked.
A lot of things I was also right about.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. I think that would have been the goal.
Both of us were fighting for that.
Yeah.
In our own ways, that somehow we were lucky and hardworking enough to both succeed at. Is that an okay way of putting it?
Yeah. It was a rocky time, so it kind of would have depended on when it failed, and I think in a lot of ways how. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if my role would have been the same or any of that kind of stuff, but I think we would have liked to try to find a way to make it work. I just don't know 100% if it would have been guaranteed.
Oh, I got a response from Sebastian about the magnet polarity. It's random. It's not controlled for.
Got it. Okay, well, that's why.
Thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, anything else here that you guys want to talk about?
I'm trying to plow through incomings really quick.
Yeah, how are there so many merch messages today? This is a $600 backpack, you guys.
I think it's the bread plushie.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's your problem. What the heck? You know, we make real serious products here.
Have you seen the description of the bread plushie?
Yes, I've seen the description.
When you have the site set to French?
No.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Think about the translation of, you know how it just says bread a million times? Think about the translation.
It's so good.
That's the Linus version of the site.
It just, for people that don't understand, it just says pain over
Pain.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you read it with an English accent, it's pain. That's
what Linus feels.
It's just a whole thing of just pain. Oh man, it's so funny.
All right, we got one last one from Anna M. I provided mostly positive feedback about this bra with only one downside, and your customer service gave me a $10 in-store credit. I just want to say how comfortable this bra is for men shopping for SOs. So Anna picked up the women's scoop bralette, and then the women's boy short, and a sticker pack. All right, heck yeah, love to see people back after a positive experience. That's great. Okay, hey, good luck, Steven. Having a new kid is always stressful.
Yeah.
And awesome. And we will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.